Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto is vice captain of 3rd squad under command of Captain Jiraiya. Part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. Naruto opened his eyes and slowly sat up. What is it? He mumbled. 4th seat in Yazuka Kiba here. The door was banged again. Wake up, you idiot. Someone is here to see the Taichu and I can't find him anywhere. Is he there? Here? Why in the hell would he be here? Naruto mumbled and looked around his simple room. There is nobody here, expect me. Now, go away and let me sleep. There was a moment of pause. Wake up, you idiot. There is a messenger from the 1st squad who wants to talk with the Taichu. Why do I even have to talk with him? I'm only the 4th seat anyway. At least give me a promotion. And Naruto opened the door, fully dressed now, glaring daggers into one other's heart. Shut up, okay? He yawned loudly. Now, where's the messenger? Waiting for you in the lobby with all the girls of our squad. Kiba muttered angrily. You mean, yeah, Emo King has entered the building. Naruto muttered and placed his Zanpakuto to its place on the waist. They walked through the corridors. Where's the 3rd seat? Izuru is searching for the captain. Kiba answered. What are we going to do with him? There's nothing we can do really. Naruto shrugged. He is our captain. That's it. You're only saying that because you're the 2nd in command. Kiba muttered. Naruto chuckled. Maybe so. They entered the lobby where they were greeted by a familiar sight. Black-haired man standing in the middle of a crowd of women while trying his best to ignore them, which didn't seem bother women trying to get his attention. What's so cool about him? I could beat him if I wanted to. Kiba muttered, jealous of all the girls swirling around him. How should I know? Naruto shrugged. Don't you have anything to do? He exclaimed loudly to the group of women who jumped in shock before running out of the lobby, apologizing and greeting him. What is it, team? Unlike you, we are actually pretty busy here. Sasuke snorted. Doing what? Being a loser? You bastard. Kiba rushed towards him, but Naruto stopped him. How I spent my days is my business. He smiled proudly, like sleeping all day was something to be proud of. But what is the message? Sasuke ignored him. Where is that captain of yours? He asked, looking around the lobby. At the same moment Kira Izuru ran to them and whispered to Naruto's ear. He is meditating. I see. Naruto sighed. What a pain in the ass. But anyway, what's the message? Tell me so I can deliver it. The message is to captain of the squad. Not to the dead last like you. You forgot that I am the vice captain of this squad. 6th seat. Naruto said the words with most pleasure. I outrank you from now on. He smiled proudly. Actually, even Kiba and Izuru outrank you. He exchanged smile with the two. Ukutaichu. Izuru tried to scold him. Damn right. Kiba yelled loudly. I'm the 4th seat. You're only merely 6th seat. So tell us the message and crawl under the rock you came from. Sasuke's face made an evil grin. I'm the 6th seat of the 1st squad. Also known as the best squad. You better to remember that. You want to find the truth? Kiba asked angrily and took a hold of the scabbard of his Zanpakuto. Of which squad is better? I'm up to it here and now. Kiba-san. Izuru yelled and stepped between them. Stop that. Now. Kiba tried to argue. Listen to Izuru. Naruto said calmly. So, can you tell us the message today or do we have to wait for much longer? Sasuke turned his back to them. Captains are going to hold a meeting to welcome the new captain of the 10th squad. All vice captains and captains are to be present. The meeting begins at noon. So that means I won't have to watch your ugly face, huh? Naruto nodded. You can go. Sasuke sneered and walked away. Just on the front door, he stopped and looked around. Such a rundown place, but I guess squad and barracks go hand in hand both in fame and state of condition. What was that? Kiba asked, furious. Even Izuru was now glaring at his back. I don't know what that man was thinking when choosing you as his squad's officers. But I guess he had his reasons how drunk he might have been. Both 3rd and 4th seats were holding their scabbards now. Naruto had to keep his calm no matter how hard it was. He would let the bastard have the enjoyment of being able to make him lose his cool. Leave, 6th seat Sasuke. Before I make you. You think you had what it takes to take me on? Sasuke asked, now taking the hold of his scabbard as well. Unlike you, I reached my seat myself. Not with the help of my mother's name. You bastard. Kiba was about to jump on him. Stop. Naruto yelled. Stand down, Kiba. But Naruto. That was totally. Stand down. Both of you. He and Naruto glared each other there for a while. What's the ruckus over here? Both of them looked over to the new voice. Older man with white hair and a bathrobe was walking towards them. He looked like he had just woken up and was suffering from a hangover. Everyone should know the rule, no loud voices until noon. Good morning, Jiraiya Taichu. Both Kiba and Izuru bowed their backs in respect to the man. So you finally woke up? Naruto muttered, amused. And I thought I would have to come and wake you up myself. I would rather sleep forever than let a guy to wake me up. Jiraiya giggled. If it was one of our female members it would completely different matter. Taichu. Izuru scolded him. There is a message from the first squad. Jiraiya shifted his eyes to the man at the doorway. Uchiha Sasuke, huh? What brings a genius like you to my squad? I am sorry, but I have no vacant officer's seat available. There was a moment when Sasuke's voice could be heard even though he didn't open his mouth. Are you kidding me? But quickly he improved his act and politely shook his head. No thank you. I'm here only to deliver the message. Your officers have already heard it. I myself have to hurry and deliver the message to everyone. Goodbye. He left before anything else could be said. Bastard. Kiba muttered after he was gone. That was completely out of line. I agree. Izuru nodded. You shouldn't take it too seriously, Fuku Taichu. Thanks I guess. Naruto muttered. Anyway, Hiro Taichu, you are expected to show up to welcome the new captain of the 10th squad at noon. That's it. Why should I go? I don't feel like doing anything today. Jiraiya muttered and stood up. Then sudden shrieks made everyone halt. Pervert. Some female squad members screamed and run through corridors covering their eyes. Taichu? Please put some clothes on. Izuru asked embarrassed. Little more dignified actions would be for worse. What? Jiraiya asked confused before grinning painfully. This headache is getting worse. Naruto, get your ass back to the 4th squad and ask them send some nurse to heal my head. Naruto nodded quietly. I'll leave things to you, Izuru. He muttered and walked out of the barracks. Ah yes, Fuku Taichu. Izuru nodded. Come, Kiba-san. Sure I hate that guy I would like to, and then he mumbled things like this all the way out of the lobby. Jiraiya's side was still sitting on the floor, now completely awake. That kid never has it easy has he? He had sent Naruto away to give him some time to think his things through. Naruto was walking through streets of Sarate. He was quiet and thought of what Sasuke team had said. Uchihas were a noble family as well, so why did he have to bring that up? Naruto was well aware that he was still a rookie vice captain, but he was doing his best. He sighed sadly. He had been the dead last in the academy and it had been a miracle that any squad had recruited him. He had been one of the foot soldiers of that squad, doing only menial tasks, just like the captain of that squad had wished him to do. Keeping him out of the front lines. Of course that hadn't prevented him from training until he had finally able to reach his Shikai. He looked down to his Zanpakuto. It had been a complete accident actually that he had been able to reach that ability. He had been doing some deliveries through the Soul Society when a hollow had attacked him. Alone, he had no choice but to fight and so he had. Unfortunately it had been way too strong for a dead last like him and almost defeated him. That was until his Zanpakuto had called him. He had been able to release it and hollow was defeated. Simple as that. After the fight, out of nowhere the captain of the 3rd squad had appeared and asked if he wanted to learn few tricks from him. After a few weeks of secret training, he raised a query he had on his mind from the start. Would you become my second in command? He had asked and now he was here. The vice captain of the 3rd squad. He tried his best not to let Irotai Jiraiya Taichu down. After he thought about it, he was quite happy with how the things turned out. It had taken a while but few days ago, finally his squad had accepted him. It had been after the unofficial never-happened duel between Kiba and Naruto where Naruto had to everyone's surprise, defeated him. After that, things had been easier and now he could actually be proud of his choice to join the 3rd squad. Naruto stretched his arms lazily. Yes, he was most satisfied with the way the things were. Finally he arrived to the 4th squad barracks where he recognized a familiar sight sweeping in front of the main doors. Hana. Yo. He exclaimed loudly and happily. Naruto-san. Nice to see you after a while. Younger boy smiled before he realized it. I'm sorry don't say that now. Naruto calmed him down. I'm here with official business of my squad but you can always call me by my name. After all, he smiled. We are friends. Thank you, Naruto-san. Hinataro Yamada nodded shyly. You were always so good to me. He muttered happily. Anything wrong? Nothing. It's just that after you were gone it has been a little lonely here. He muttered sweeping again. How are things in your new squad? They are going fine. Naruto smiled. I'm quite satisfied with the way things are now. You're one step close to your dream then huh? Hinataro asked. Yes. He nodded proudly. One day I will be the captain commander. That same moment someone slapped the back of his head. Yeah right, baka. Ow 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 ow. He clutched to his head. Who the hell? Sakura-san. You shouldn't do that. Hinataro tried to stop the pink-haired woman who had just appeared behind them with a group of squad members. Did you say something, 7th seat? Sakura asked warningly. And you should be doing your chores, not running around acting stupid. She sighed. You're totally helpless. I go away for few weeks and what I find? You two slacking off like usual. Sakura-san. You have been on a mission for so long that you don't Hinataro tried to explain. Naruto stopped him and smiled. I will if you go to a date with me. Naruto smirked. Ha. How many times I have to tell you that I'm in love with Sasuke-kun. He both outranks and outsmarts you. You understand. I'm the sixth seat. Just like him. We are meant to be. She started dreaming. You dream on. Sasuke-kun belongs to me. Ninth seat, Yamanaka Ino stated loudly. You on the other hand aren't even a seated officer, but you are only recruited because your mother happens to be the captain. Sakura-san, that's completely out of Hinataro tried to calm them down, but Naruto stopped him again. Okay. I understand. You're the sixth seat. And I'm nobody. He smiled happily. I understand. He walked away. Good luck, Hana. He smirked before disappearing through the barracks. What was that all about? Sakura asked curiously. Did something happen while I was away? Hinataro quickly continued to sweep the floor. Well, nothing that special I guess. Naruto walked through the hallways of the barracks knowing his way around. He knew the fourth barracks like his own backyard, so he knew how to navigate his way to his destination without facing too many people. Everyone he met bowed and treated him like he was a complete stranger. He ignored most of them until he found the door he was looking for. First he raised his hand to knock before he thought, why bother? He slammed the door open and exclaimed loudly. Yo. What's up? Naruto-kun, I mean Senju Fuku Taichu. We are now both vice captains. Shizune, the vice captain of the fourth squad greeted him happily as he entered the office. What brings you here? I'm here for a request of my captain. Naruto answered, bored looking around the office, ignoring the person behind the desk. How are things here? Quite. Shizune answered. And not so quite. We are still quite shocked that you left us so easily. Really? Naruto asked indifferently. What surprised me is that I was able to leave this place. Right, Kasan. I allowed you to join that idiot squad and not only that, but he made you his vice captain. Is he brain dead? Not that I need an answer for that. Senju Tsunade, captain of the fourth squad muttered. Mother of Naruto and head of Senju, one of the four great noble houses just like Shihoin and Kichiki. Are you sure you don't want to come back? I can give you even a place as a seated officer if that's what you want. And put me on my place to sweep the floors with Hinataro like always. Naruto added rather coldly. It was true that his mother had recruited him from the academy herself, but no to favor him. It was to prevent any other squad taking him. Tsunade was extremely overprotective of his only son, and that's why he had always done usual errands instead of fighting or even interacting with other squads. So he would stay out of harm's way. Sweeping floors, washing laundry and in the meantime hoping he would come to his senses and start taking keto training more seriously and become a medic. But she must have been cursed because on a routine delivery mission he had fought a hollow and also reached his Shikai. And then that pervert had arrived and asked him to join his squad. Tsunade had tried almost everything to prevent this transfer, but Naruto was stubborn and won the struggle. It had taken a lot of sake power to accept the fact. Her baby boy was growing head she couldn't stop it or even control it. She sighed. With your keto control there's nothing else I can give you. Life sucks. Naruto smiled proudly. Anyway, Iro Taichu wants a hot nurse to heal. Rejected. Tsunade said flatly before standing up and quickly jumping over her desk. She crushed him to a tight hug. But I guess I need someone to look after him so he doesn't kill himself. So, what really brought you here? Nothing special. He shrugged after she let him go. I just wanted to have a talk with you after a while. You know. I see. Tsunade walked back to her desk. What is it? You can tell me. Right, Shizune? Of course. Shizune had always been like an older sister to Naruto, so it was easy to confide in her. Let me guess. It was Emo King once again, wasn't it? Yeah. Naruto muttered. He really pisses me off. He clutched his fist. I'm getting really pissed of that only my squad treats me like a vice captain. To everyone else I'm always the son of Senju and dead last. I really hate it. Tsunade sighed. That's because they are jealous. She answered. And it is quite exceptional that you became a vice captain of another squad just like that. It does raise few questions. Naruto sighed. I understand that but still think it this way. Shizune smiled. You're the first one of your graduate class to reach the spot of vice captain. I guess that is something. Naruto shrugged. There was a moment of silence until it was broken by knocking sound. Tsunade Taichu. Can I come in? Sakura's voice asked. Sure. Tsunade said back and the door was opened. What is it? Third seat of fourth squad came asking if his vice captain was here. But it's only Naruto. Sakura said after looking around. I was hoping to see the new vice captain myself. Naruto was on the bad mood so he didn't even bother to answer. What is it, Izuru? Naruto. You should treat officers of other squads with more respect. Sakura slapped him painfully. Even if they are not from our squad. It's okay, Haruno-san. Izuru hurried to calm her down. Anyway, Taichu has disappeared again. What? Naruto asked. How did that happen? Izuru looked a little uncomfortable. Taichu wanted to go take a bath, so we gave him a little privacy, but when Kiba went to give him his clothes he had disappeared. Naruto groaned. What a troublesome captain. Okay, I'm off. Take care, Sakura-chan. What? She asked confused. What? Naruto had taken a chance of an opening and gave her little peek on the cheek. And before she could retaliate, Naruto had rushed out of the office laughing like a little kid, leaving very uncomfortable Izuru alone with laughing Shizune, angry Tsunade and enraged Sakura. I shall take me leave then. He bowed quickly and run after his vice captain. Fuku Taichu. Naruto. Get your ass back here. That's an order. Sakura screamed from the top of her lungs. I'm sorry Sakura-san, but Naruto-kun isn't under your rule anymore. Shizune answered. What? Naruto laughed happily when his ears heard a very loud scream which sounded something like. What? Fuku Taichu. That wasn't very professional. Izuru scolded him when they run side by side towards the business area of the Sirte. It was worth it. Naruto smiled proudly. It seems that you're on better mood, Fuku Taichu. Why wouldn't I? He asked. Anyway, let's find that pervert wherever he is hiding. You look all taverns on that side while I go this way. Wait, what is it, Fuku Taichu? If you are here then who is in lead of the squad? Naruto paled. Don't tell me. Okay. The awesome Kiba Inuzuka is here to kick some serious ass. Kiba's voice echoed through the third squad's barracks. First rule. Every girl go topless. 2 minutes later an emergency call was made to the fourth squad. It seems that a hollow had found its way to the Sirte without anyone noticing, and then it had beaten unsuspecting Kiba to a pulp and written a word. Pervert all over his body before he was rescued by female members of the squad. No one wanted to question this theory. So when Naruto and Izuru finally reached the barracks, they were greeted by the fifth seat. Maybe next time you should remain here and send Kiba to fetch me. Naruto muttered. I guess Izuru muttered. What should we do about Taichu? Leave him be. He will crawl out from his rock when he is needed. Anyway, we still have our jobs to do. This sure is some nice ache, eh Shunsui? Jiraiya took a gulp and laughed. Good. Yes it is. Captain of the 8th Kairaku Shunsui smiled back. I was little surprised that you invited me to drinking this early in the morning. But not that I'm going to complain. Nana-chan might get a little upset when she finds out. But that can wait. Now, what you wanted to talk about. Talk about? What you mean? Jiraiya asked. I'm here only to have a drink with my good friend. But Shunsui only kept smiling. Jiraiya sighed and gave up. I'm curious. Jiraiya was known of his curious nature and that also made him one of the most knowledgeable people in the Sirte with his own spy network. About a new captain of the 10th squad. He answered. I heard that he was a young prodigy. Me too. Shunsui admitted. There seems to be prodigies and geniuses everywhere these days don't you think? So it wasn't you who supervised his bankai? Jiraiya asked. No, it wasn't. Shunsui shook his head. You must really be on the end of your rope if you are asking me about this. He laughed. Jiraiya grumbled. I hate this. Well, I'll find out sooner or later. Yes you do. His friend took another long gulp of sake. I have a question for you in turn. Yes. Let me guess, it's about Naruto. Yes, the famous Senju heir. Is it true that you took him as your vice captain just because Tsunade-sen asked you to? What you think? Shunsui smirked. That you are not that kind of person who would do something like that. Or that Tsunade-sen would have ever asked you to do that. Knowing her you had to fight to get what you wanted. The question is, was it worth it? What you mean? I admit that it's none of my business what kind of person is another squad's vice captain, but I have heard rumors that he was a dead last of his class. Jiraiya completed the sentence. Was only a foot soldier in his old squad. Almost no skill with Kido. They are all true. And why? For several reasons but the biggest one you'll understand when you meet him. And it's not all true what they say. He isn't that weak. He only needs some battle experience and he could have easily become a vice captain in any another squad. And now after few weeks I can truthfully say that it was a good choice. Just in short time he has been able to get the approval of the whole squad. He can be calm and collected when needed and is very good leader material. Even if he is stubborn, childish and a complete idiot. He sounds exactly like you. Shunsui pointed out little surprised. And I'm serious too. I'm actually quite pleased with the fact that all the captain posts are filled right now. It would have only been a matter of time before he had asked for the captain test himself. Now I can just sit back and let him do all my work. Oi oi oi. That's not very nice thing to do. Shunsui scolded him. Like you're in any position to judge me. Where's your vice captain? Jiraiya asked. Okay, he is a good leader, but is he strong? He was the dead last of his graduate class, right? So is he really suitable to be a vice captain? For the first time, Jiraiya seemed serious. He is strong. He said with uncharacteristic gloom voice which made even Shunsui to lower his drink. There was a moment of silence to what seemed like he was reminiscing something. That is one of the reasons I wanted to make sure he would be a member of my squad. Shunsui leaned back. That really surprised me. I can't wait to meet him. Well, we're supposed to welcome the new captain of the 10th squad soon enough. You will meet him in the process. Then the mood saddened considerably. That bastard. Jiraiya muttered. Why couldn't it have been me? Shunsui agreed. To have a vice captain with biggest boobs. They ended the sentence together. Well, excuse me for not being a bimbo. They both gulped and turned to the door where vice captain of the 8th squad was releasing tremendous killing aura. So this is where you were. I am sorry, Nanao-chan. I was only kidding. My cute Nanao-chan. Help me out, Jiraiya-kun, Jiraiya-kun. Amakan Taichu, A.N. I don't know Jiraiya's last name, so I made my own, ran away. At the same moment Jiraiya appeared at street. Sorry, pal. He muttered as he walked away. Iro Taichu. All too familiar scream echoed through the street. That was way too cruel. Jiraiya muttered to himself. Getting a scolding from a kid like him. And I thought vice captains were supposed to be under captains. I can hear you, Taichu. Naruto exclaimed loudly. Anyway, you get yourself ready for departing to the first barracks. Welcome back, Taichu. Fuku Taichu. Guards bowed to them as they passed the gate. As they walked through the main doors. Fuku Taichu. Awful trouble. Some female squad members rushed to him, ignoring Jiraiya completely. Awful trouble. Calm down. What is it? Naruto asked and stepped forward. Lucky bastard. Jiraiya muttered bitterly. Why all chicks are around him? Because our squad's girls have a bad taste when it comes to men. The answer came behind him. Taichu. Kibble limped to his side. Good point, 4th seat. Jiraiya nodded sagely. If you had shown such intellect when I was looking for a vice captain, you would have made me a 3rd seat when I had promoted Izuru. Jiraiya crushed his hopes with that. Well, it's not like I would have wanted the job. Kibble leaned back lazily. And I think Naruto is doing a lot better job than I would have in his place. Exactly. Jiraiya smirked. Look at him. People come to him with different kind of problems, yet he is not even the least bit of panicked. Many people only see his goofy side and never have a chance to see this. Inuzuka. Hi, Taichu. Kiba tried to correct his posture. You have to help him every way you can. That's your job with Izuru. Hi. Kiba nodded proudly. I will do my best. By the way, here are the pictures of my scouting mission. He handed him an envelope secretly. I see. Jiraiya blushed slightly. I value your efforts to always complete missions I give you. He took a little peek to the envelope. Upskirt pictures of nurses. Yes, very much so. Thank you, Taichu. And I want you 3 to do what I told you before. We will be gone at least couple of hours, so contact Izuru if there are any troubles. Okay. Hi, Fuku Taichu. Girls screamed excitedly. Even though Uchiha Sasuke was the Shinigami of the month in 3 months in a row, nobody in the 3rd squad thought of him nothing more than as an idol. A dream. A fantasy. Naruto-kun on the other hand was real. Cute looking, smart, funny with a rank, and also he was an heir of one of the most prestigious noble houses in all the Sirte. So there was a man with many, rank, looks in mind. In short, other words, Sasuke-kun was soon being replaced. Damn lucky bastard. Jiraiya muttered bitterly. What did I do now? Naruto asked annoyed. You're such an idiot. Kiba screamed before running away fuming with his limping leg. What was that all about? He asked curiously. Naruto continued his job as a vice captain of the squad, oblivious to the couple of spying eyes. It's true. First one whispered from her hiding place, a small bush. Naruto Baka is really a vice captain. This must be some sick joke, right? I don't know. The other one whispered back. It's just how did this happen? Seriously, pig, how did he become a vice captain in only few weeks we were gone? I don't know it, forehead, but what about now? Ino asked little cautiously. What you mean? Are you going to move along with your boyfriend to a new squad? Ino smiled childishly. You have to move faster, those other girls will steal him from you. He is not my boyfriend. She yelled. What was that? Someone of the guards asked. I'm not too sure. Let's check it out. This is bad. Ino screamed and jumped out of her bush and rushed towards the wall that separated the 3rd barracks from the rest of the Sirte. Wait for me, you pig. Sakura ran behind her. Hey, you two. Stop. What are you doing here? But the two were long gone before that. Did you see that? One of the guards asked. Those two they were girls. I think I have seen them before in the 4th squad. No way. The first one groaned. Not only girls in our squad but others too. My friend is in the 1st squad and he told me how he always has to fend off girls who try to get their hands on Uchiha-kun. Does this mean we will have to do the same, do we? I hope not. Me neither. Taichu. They both jumped back in shock. Don't sneak up on us like that. Sorry. He waved his hand. Anyway, Naruto. Let's get going. We're late as we are. Humming. Naruto exited the barracks beaming. Later. And Kiba, please be aware of hollows lurking around. They can really be a trouble if you're not careful. Shut up. Was the only reply he received. Jiraiya and Naruto walked through Tsunade to the first barracks. Feeling any better? Of course. Why wouldn't I? Naruto asked like there were no worries in a world. This happy-go-lucky attitude of his was really annoying when it came to it. Just what you meant by that. Nothing. Jiraiya looked away. Anyway, what kind of person this 10th squad captain is? How should I know? Jiraiya asked. I've never met him before. Naruto glared at him for a moment. Jiraiya sighed. His name is Hitsugaya Toshiro. He is told to be a prodigy. His Zanpakuto is named Hyorinmaru. It's an ice-based Zanpakuto. He is said to be cold as ice. Has no friends. Easily annoyed by goofing off. Has some weird family-kind relationship with Hinamori-chan, the vice captain of the 5th squad. Has family in Reconnecting, old woman, his grandmother if I'm correct. He likes Naruto but doesn't like persimmons. His preferred girl type isn't known. Naruto was quiet for a moment. That was filling. You asked. You know spying into other people's lives isn't nice. I'm curious. That's the human nature. Bullshit. Naruto muttered. You're just nosy. Then he coughed. What you have on Sakura-chan? Not again. For the last time, I won't give you any information because you ask like a lovesick poppy. Why? Why is so bad for me to want to have Sakura-chan as my girlfriend? I'm sure she will see how great I am any day now. Jiraiya sighed. Boy, he laid his hand fatherly over his shoulder. I know how it feels to be first time in love. Trust me, I've been there too. About a millennium ago. Naruto muttered. Shut up. Anyway, because you're just a kid, you think everything will work okay, and you and this pink head with no real figure is the one because she is the first one, right? But the world doesn't work that way. Do you know why theirs is a first love? Why? So our hearts would be broken, smashed, eaten, burned, and shattered to 1,000 pieces. Jiraiya sighed sadly. But that happens so after our first heartbreak, we are ready for our true love and all the hardship she brings with herself. Naruto was silent for a moment. I'm almost convinced. If only you weren't famous of being a lonely creep who has a habit of peeping into women's bath. That has nothing to do with this. Jiraiya yelled angrily. Could you even consider test driving another girl? You might actually enjoy it. And when being occupied with your girlfriend, all other girls lose their interest in you. Come on. Would that be so bad? Let's presume you're right and Sakura won't even consider me as her boyfriend, who would? Naruto asked. You know almost every girl in the Soul Society. Like he looked around. Like her. Who? The vice captain of the 8th squad. She is right over there. Jiraiya pointed towards the direction where Shunsui and Nanao were walking from. Shunsui acted like a scolded dog. Shunsui-kun. Hi there. He rushed to his friend's side. Sorry about this morning. I was in a real big hurry so I had no choice. You'll forgive me, right? Oi oi oi. If anything, at least not that easily, you know. My cute Nanao-chan had to scold me long for drinking with you. How are you going to reconcile with that? Jiraiya quickly jumped to his side and whispered few things to his ear. What? You can't be. Shunsui disagreed, but Jiraiya continued fighting with him. That's true but I know, but are you sure? Jiraiya smirked and nodded. Think about it, all that we can achieve if I'm right. But what if you're wrong? They can become a real pain when together, you know. Don't worry. If I am right, she will be too busy keeping him in the line while he is too busy trying to run away. But if I won't forgive him if he insult her. Shunsui said stubbornly. Don't worry. He would never hurt a girl seriously. Trust me. When he finally gets himself a girlfriend, he will make her feel luckiest girl in the universe. Meanwhile Naruto was leaning to his hands lazily. What's that all about? He muttered to no one specific. This is getting boring. I don't believe we have met before. My name is Ice Nanao. Nanao walked up to him cautiously. I'm the vice captain of the 8th squad. Nice to meet you. She corrected her glasses. Naruto watched at her for a moment like she had just said something weird. Then he remembered. Right. I'm Naruto. Nice to meet you. Nanao was taken aback by his rude actions. Not only was he a vice captain like herself, but also a member of a great clan, yet he talked like that. Did that even count as an introduction? I like ramen and different variations of it. He continued suddenly. My dream is to become the captain commander of Gate 13 and show everyone what I can do. I don't like violet girls or stuck-up people who think they are better than others. I see. Nanao's sweat dropped. So you like ramen? What kind of question was that? She cursed to herself. Yeah. Very much. I also have dream of finding every ramen flavor of the world and eating them. He smiled proudly. What's your dream? While Nanao was trying to avoid awkward questions she was receiving, both Shunsui looked at Jiraiya doubtfully. You think he's a good boyfriend for my little Nanao-chan? He's a charmer. He just doesn't know it yet. Jiraiya smirked. Trust me, according to my sources, he could be the next Shinigami of the month. You're kidding me, right? Shunsui whispered in shock. He? What's not to like it? He is blonde, blue eyes, has a good smile and posture. Most girls in my squad are taken by him. If only he knew it. You mean he is an idiot? Pretty much yeah. After a moment Shunsui leaned back and laughed heartedly. So true. Why you picked a vice captain just like yourself. I wouldn't be surprised even if you were his father, are you? Of course not. I would never sleep with a monkey, no matter how desperate I am. Tsunade joined to the conversation as they appeared from behind the corner, Shizune walking behind her. Hi Naruto. How are you doing? She joined to the first line with other captains when Shizune walked next to Naruto. They continued their journey towards the first barracks. I'm fine, thanks. Naruto yelled like it was nothing. Ni-chan, how did Sakura-chan take the news? She was shocked. Shizune admitted. But I really can't blame her. What happened? Nanao asked curiously, trying to change the subject from ramen to something more intellectual. Well, one of our seated officers took the news of Naruto's transfer pretty roughly. I see. I can't say I blame them. She added under her breath. Shizune-san, how is your work these days? Quite well, thank you. There hasn't been anything too big going on lately so it's easy. Little boring but I like it this way. There was a moment of silence. So, Naruto-kun, any new girls in sight yet? Every captain stopped in the middle of their steps when they heard this question. Nah. It just seems that there is no girl there for me. Everyone sighed and continued their walk. Why not? Shizune asked. Or do you still think Haruno-san will fall in love with you? Well, it's possible, isn't it? There's no way a girl would fall for you. Nanao said rather rudely. What you mean? Naruto sounded like he had just been kicked. Your rude, irritating and childish personality makes it seems that you can't take anything seriously. Your dreams are childish and support that image. Not mentioning your reputation as a dead lad and your mysterious promotion makes it all more likely that people won't take you seriously, so no woman would seriously seek a relationship with you. Nanao-chan, isn't that bit too much? Shunsui asked when Tsunade started fuming on his side. My son isn't good enough for a bitch like you. Was written all over her face. To Jiraiya most of the stuff she said made sense. But Ranjiku-chan said that those make me look cute. Naruto whimpered. Well, excuse me if you only take advices from big-breasted people instead of an intellectual like me. She fumed angrily. Jiraiya and Shunsui had to grab a hold on Tsunade's arms to hold her back so she wouldn't kill her to the spot. You got something to say. Nanao ignored her completely. True, you obviously have a cute side and you can amuse ladies and your looks aren't that bad, but those would only get ladies' attention. Soon as the first attractation fades off they will start to look for something more reliable and how to put this mature and cooler. Understand? There was a amount that Naruto thought about it. I think you got a point there. And also, you must find out what a word romance means. Well, I do know that much at least. I did read The Rose-Colored Path when it was published. Naruto shrugged. You actually read it? Nanao asked confused. Teichi's novel. Oh yeah, it was written by what his name was. Iraku Shunsui. 8th Division Captain suggested hopefully. You read my novel. Did you like it? I did. Well, most of it. The ending kind of sucked. Too tragic if you ask me. Naruto explained. Wait a minute, did you say you wrote it? He just said he did, you idiot. Tsunade screamed flustered. Can we move on? We're almost late because of you. Don't worry. There's still time. Everyone turned around to see another captain-vice captain pair walking to them. Nice to see you all. Sasu-kun. Shunsui greeted the newcomer. And Hinamori-chan. Nice to see you both. Thank you, Kairaku Taichu. 5th Squad Vice Captain bowed respectfully. She and Aizen joined the group which began moving again. Captains began talking about their new colleague when Vice Captains started talking about things. So, how are things in your end, Hinamori-san? Shizune asked in friendly manner. Everything alright? Yes. Of course. She smiled. Aizen Taichu has been a little busy lately but nothing more. Shizune and Hinamori changed pleasantries but Naruto wasn't ready for it. The things Nanao had said were still bothering him. So you mean that if I would start more maturely and goof off a little less, Sakura-chan would fall for me? A vein appeared on Nanao's forehead. I wouldn't know, now would I? But it's true that more mature way of acting and little respect for your superiors wouldn't hurt your image. That sounds so hard. Naruto cried out like he was suffering. There's no way I could do something like that. Not when your brains are on, at least. Jiraiya muttered under his breath. What is it, Gamaken-san? Aizen asked politely. Nothing. Jiraiya smiled. Naruto used his thinking posture while walking. So let me get this straight, if I were smart, mature and respecting guy, you would go out with me? The street ran silent when everyone halted. Aizen and Hinamori who had just joined the conversation made their own deductions. Gamaken-san, has your vice captain a feelings for Kairaku-san's vice captain? Yes, you didn't know that. Jiraiya said like it was old news. You haven't yet met my vice captain, have you? No. Hinamori-kun did told me about him when she visited your barracks a week back. Aizen told him. She told me that he was a nice person. And he does seem to be interesting person. Thanks. Jiraiya nodded. Shunsui had to keep Tsunade from attacking the vice captains while everyone waited for the answer. Nanao corrected her glasses and acted like nothing had happened. Myself. It would be possible. Shizune smiled to Hinamori who didn't really understand what was going on. Naruto thought for a moment. Nah. Not worth it. Everyone felt like falling down. I just have to win you over with my natural charm. He smirked and continued to walk. Somehow the talk had taken a strange direction. Do you have anything to do this evening? Before she could even think of answering, he continued. I will come look for you so we can go to our first date. Oh, Hiro Taichu, let's go already. I don't want that we are the last ones there. Why yeah, he muttered. Wait. I never said I would but it was too late. Naruto and Jiraiya had already walked through the first barracks doors, leaving very silent group behind them. Hinamori, who considered herself as a friend of Aisan, decided to give her an advice. Aisan, you should go bathing before meeting with him. What? Nanao asked shocked. You intend to go to the library later, right? And you always get so dusty there. So remember to get to the bath before it's too late. And maybe you should get a better kimono for the occasion. But, yo. Everyone. What's going on here? Matsumoto jumped to the scene. Aisan has a date later with Senju-san. Really? I had no idea you had a thing for him. Matsumoto teased her. He is funny and good looking so you better hold on to him. Many girls would kill to have a man like that. But Nanao froze and couldn't think anything to say. But anyway, we should hurry. Aizen pointed out. Or we will be late. Aisan, good luck with your date. Let's go, Hinamori-kun. Yes. Aizen Taichu. Let's go, Shizune. Tsunade muttered angrily. You too, Shunsui. Why yes. Nanao was left alone in front of the first barracks door standing frozen still. But I never said I would. She whispered silently. So, how does it feel to have a new captain, Ran-chan? Naruto asked as they walked towards the main hall. Excited. I don't know. Ranjiku muttered. I wonder if he's cute. I heard that he is a lot younger than me. What was his name again? She tried to think hard. I could have sworn I had heard it somewhere before. It's because you have met him before. Jiraiya thought defeated. Don't sweat it. Naruto leaned to his hands behind his back. Just try to give a good impression to him at least. It really sucks that when your captain doesn't think too highly of you. You should know how that feels. Jiraiya muttered while walking ahead of them. You suck giving a first impression. To you it's impossible to give a good first impression unless you're at least as good looking as Ran-chan here. Don't tease me like that, Na-chan. She leaned closer to him. I heard that you're going out with Nanao-chan tonight. She whispered with flirtatious voice. I wonder if you did to make me jealous. Or are you regretting it already? Naruto looked at her confused. What you mean? I haven't even gotten out with her yet. Why should I regret it already? And why would I want to make you jealous? It's not like we have anything between us, right? Ah. Ranjiku fell to the floor and started rolling like in pain. Why you tease me like this? You're so awful. So awful. Teasing me time after time. You should take the responsibility once in a while, you big meanie. Naruto laughed. I have no idea what you mean, but that looks funny. What is it, Hiro Taichu? Do you have a headache? Jiraiya was pounding his head to the wall. So wrong. So wrong. So wrong. Naruto only shrugged and continued his walk forward. Everyone is so strange. Then he hit something that seemed like a wall. What the hell? Why there's a pillar in the middle of a. The man with Captain's Haori and some weird helmet turned around. Who are you? When asking one's name you should first introduce yourself. Naruto said suddenly. Taichu? Another man with shades rushed to the scene. Apologize immediately from my captain. It's okay, Tsuzuman. This boy is right. Kamamura nodded to Naruto. Captain of the 7th Squad, Kamamura Sajin. My name is Naruto. He exclaimed proudly. I'm with that pervert who is banging his head to the wall. So, you're his new vice captain. Kamamura muttered. I see. This is my vice captain. Iba Tsuzuman. Nice to meet you. Naruto greeted him. Likewise. Tsuzuman muttered. Taichu? Naruto moved ahead. Let's get going already. We're almost there. The group of captains and vice captains entered the main hall where they were expected by captains and vice captains of the 2nd, 6th, 9th, 11th, 12th and 13th. Jiraiya took his place as the first captain of the left side, Naruto standing behind him. Remember to act dignified while inside, okay? Naruto nodded. Of course, Taichu. He scanned through the hall. He knew some of them. Like the captain of the 6th Squad. Kichiki Byakuya. Because he was also from one of the great noble houses, Naruto had to know who were who. He had also met once the vice captain of the same squad, Aburai something. He also knew Zaraki Kenpachi, captain of the 11th Squad, her vice captain. Haruno Yuichiro was the older sister of Haruno Sakura. She waved to him half-secretly from the other end of the line. He also had met the last captain in the group, Yukitake Jashiro. In the pad he had met him when Jashiro's illness had needed more attention than just resting. Naruto's mother had made some house calls and took her little child with her. Jashiro was always glad to gain a visit from an energetic child to cheer his days. Naruto also knew his vice captain Shiba Kane. Naruto had loved to race around the 13th squad barracks, the vice captain on his back, who might have been little more than reluctant to do so. Of course that didn't slow down Naruto. He didn't know who the 9th squad captain was, but he did know his vice captain, Hisagi Shusei. Guy with the 69 tattooed on his cheek. What was the idea behind that, anyway? They had met right after Naruto's promotion when he had gone to his first vice captain meeting. Only Hisagi had been around that time when others had been busy, so he had enough time to tell the basics of being the vice captain. Of course Naruto only listened when he commented Naruto's own tattoo in his forehead. They had compared each other's tattoos and accessories all day. Naruto kept them both in secret, but he had a very valuable jewel inside his kimono and a tattoo shaped of a diamond on his forehead. They were both symbols of being a senju and the heir of the main branch. He didn't know who the penguin was or the girl behind him, not that he cared. It was obvious that he didn't either. From all the captains, he was the most disturbing looking person with his black face, white head and all. And the girl was exactly like some zombie. Just looking directly into nothingness. They freaked Naruto very much, which made him to swear to never enter the 12th squad without one hell of a reason. He was interested who the girl standing directly on the opposite side from them. He thought he had heard her name somewhere but wasn't too sure. If he wasn't completely wrong, she came from the Fawn family which served the Shion. Anyway, she was cute looking but obviously angry and didn't enjoy being there. Her vice captain was something else. He was still eating. That was pretty tactless. Even Naruto knew when to act if needed. So everyone was present except captain of the first squad and the new 10th. Ranjiku seemed to be excited to meet up with her new captain. The doors opened once more and the captain Commander Yamamoto walked in with his own vice captain to the end of the room. "Everyone is here, good," he said as he took his place. "Now we may begin our welcoming ceremony of the new captain of the 10th squad of Gate 13. Hitsugaya Toshiro." The doors opened once again and the new figure entered. He was wearing the captain's haori, so he had to be the one. First thing Naruto had in his mind was an elementary student. As everyone made their deductions about what they saw, Hitsugaya stood there quietly. "Hitsugaya Toshiro. Nice to meet you all. Hope we can work together well in the future." Yukitake stepped forward smiling his usual accepting smile. "Being a captain might be a little hard at first, so feel free to ask advice when needed." "Well, thanks." The new captain muttered little awkwardly. "I believe I can manage." "Are you sure?" Yukitake asked. "Well, it's not bad for asking advice once in a while." Rest of the ceremony was some useless talk, so Naruto skipped it completely. He had more bigger problems. Where should he take Nanao-chan for the date? He had never taken a girl out before. What did you do when going out? He would need to ask someone. But who? Mom was out without consideration. She would only lock him to some storage until he would promise never to date anyone ever again. Shizu never had any relationship that he knew of. His aunt wasn't any good choice. Listening at his captain, he would end up being called a pervert. He couldn't ask any of his subordinates. That would be just embarrassing. Ran-chan was actually a good choice, but she must be busy right now. Yuichiro-chan was a kid, so she was out. Her captain was a scary guy who didn't really say anything nice. Irotachi's friend Drunk Taichu would be valid, but for some reason he was feeling a little insecure with him around. Quote from his old classmate. "Troublesome." "Naruto." Jiraiya yelled, interrupting his thoughts. The meeting was over and people were starting to wander off. "I'm staying behind for a while. You go back and take a look after the squad." "Sure." Naruto walked off. "Bye, Ran-chan. Good luck," he yelled as he walked out of the doors. "Thank you. Remember that I'm so jealous of you right now," she yelled back. "But I can forgive this affair if you remember to repay me back." Then she turned over to Nanao, who herself tried to act invisible as possible. "You understand that, Nanao-chan? Remember to return him to me when you're done with him, okay?" She smiled. "So don't break him." I never Nanao tried to think a good retaliation, but couldn't, so she was left standing still, her mouth open. Until she rushed out of the room, carrying her book. "I never said I would go," she yelled back. Toshiro, who had no idea what was going on, turned to one person he knew. "Who is that blonde boy who is so familiar with my vice captain?" Inamori smiled. "That's Naruto-kun. He is 3rd squad's vice captain. He is a real nice person." "What's the thing then?" "Matsumoto-san just enjoys teasing him like this." But Hinamori answered. "But what?" "I don't think Naruto-kun understand that." She ended the sentence. "What are you talking about?" Ranjiku jumped to the scene. "Na-chan just acts like that. She smirked. "I let Nanao-chan play with him for a while. What about you, Momo? You want to turn with him yourself? Na-chan is a real killer when it comes to kissing." She added with most sensual voice she could muster, making everyone in the room have a heart attack. Especially certain blonde-haired captain. "What?" Hinamori jumped back. "Matsumoto-san. Why you have kai KK kiss?" Then suddenly Ranjiku started laughing wholeheartedly. "Of course I haven't. You have such a cute face, Taichu." She smiled to Toshiro, who acted like he had just drank something bad. Especially when in shock like that. "Shut up." Toshiro muttered and walked off. "Let's go, Matsumoto." "Hi, Taichu." She followed him. "Matsumoto-san, have you really KKK kissed Na-chan?" "I haven't, or have I?" She added mysteriously and winked. "Maybe you should go and ask yourself." If she had bothered to look around, she had noticed that it took all the power Jiraiya, Shunsui and Jashiro had to hold Tsunade in her place, so she didn't jump on her and rip her to pieces. Even though captain of the medical squad, Tsunade was strong, and none of the geezer trio, Jashiro, Shunsui and Jiraiya, had guts to stand against her. Not alone at least. Shizune and Kane followed the scene from the side. Oh my. Does she realize what she's doing, or is she just that stupid? I don't think these guys can hold her down much longer. Especially if Yuki Take Taichu starts coughing blood. Here it comes. Yuki Take Taichu. They hurried to help the fallen captain. "Please hang on." Naruto arrived at the squad to realize it was in order as it had been when he had left. "Fuku Taichu." Izuru hurried to greet him. "How was the ceremony?" "Boring. The new captain is an elementary student. Ran-chan seems happy enough. Mom was angry for some reason." Taichu ran off somewhere and he looked around. "I myself am going to have some training done. Inform me if anything happens." "But Fuku Taichu? You and the captain are supposed to inspect the academy today." Izuru yelled after him, but Naruto was already gone. "Sometimes I wonder what it would feel like to serve someone else." He sighed. Fourth seat. "Yo. What is it?" Kiba walked to him. "Need something? You should address me with more respect, fourth seat." Izuru said, rather annoyed. Yeah. So what you needed me for again?" "I need you to find the captain," he said. "And hurry. Tell him that his duty's needed now." "Yasha. Let's go, Akamaru." A young puppy rushed through corridors, tongue out of its mouth. "Fine, Taichu. Go." Dog started sniffing around and for some mysterious reason found itself on Kiba's foot, panting proudly. Fourth seat. What? Akamaru must a little sick or something. "That's right. Fine, Taichu." Kiba hurried to tell him. For a minute the confused puppy didn't know what to do until something was light inside its head and it started running off. "I'll find him. Just you wait." That guy. Izuru sighed. "If he wasn't in such good term with Fuku Taichu and Taichu, I would have gotten rid of him long ago. I wonder how it feels to be a third seat in a normal squad." He sighed. He walked through the barracks looking for his vice captain, only to find that he had locked himself into the dojo. "Fuku Taichu. May I come in?" He knocked to the door. "Can't you read the thing in the door?" He got an annoyed reply. Izuru looked down. There it was. A small paper on the door that said, "If you can read this, you've too much time. So buzz of and let me train." "How witty." He muttered. Fourth seat's idea. "How did you know?" Naruto asked. "Anyway, is someone dying?" "No, but then let me train. I have to concentrate." Izuru sighed. "I wonder if anyone else has to go through with this." Izuru whispered. "But you have your assignment at the academy. Please, come out." Heido number 1. Show. AN. Way of Destruction 1. Thrust. Next thing Izuru knew, the wall next to him crumbled, creating a hole big enough for him to walk through it. Fuku Taichu. He rushed inside. "Are you okay?" He was stunned to find out how his vice captain was smiling, kind of embarrassed of himself. "Sorry. I still kind of suck at Kido." "How's this even possible?" Izuru cried over the destroyed wall. "You're a vice captain, for God's sake. How were you even able to graduate from academy like this?" "My last name is Senju, remember?" Naruto answered. "No matter how much I suck, they can't keep me there for long. Not when my mother is a captain of one of the squads and I'm a member of one of the noble houses." Izuru realized that he had just hit a sour spot. I'm going. He interrupted him before he could continue. "Where is that old pervert? Or should I go to check things myself?" "What do you think?" "I think you should wait, Fuku Taichu." Izuru tried to act convinced. "You don't even know what you were supposed to do, right?" Wait a minute." Annoyed interruption came along as Kiba and Jiraiya walked to them. "Don't think that just because I let you do most of my work doesn't mean I'll let you to reach out for my Haori just yet." "Taichu? Kiba-san found you in time." "Yeah." Jiraiya muttered, obviously displeased with the situation. "I'm starting to regret allowing him keep that puppy here. If nothing else, Kiba can be used as a captain finder." Naruto snorted, amused. "You should be proud, Kiba." "Shut up." You don't understand how much trouble I went through to find him. He yelled back. Yeah, let's get going, Taichu. Naruto walked towards his captain, snapping him from his collar and dragging out. Hold the fort until we get back. Hi. Both officers nodded. Naruto was about to step outside when suddenly Jiraiya stopped him. What? I'm not letting you go until we reach the academy. He turned around to see that he was holding an armband of the vice captain. Come on boy. You've earned it. Shikamaru was feeling lazy. It wasn't anything new. Or anything he hated. Actually when he felt lazy, he was the happiest he ever could. Clouds, they were so beautiful. And I know hurry. Academy student Nara Shikamaru was from the same graduation class as Naruto and the others. He just never had found a single squad that would have wanted to recruit him. That was because of his brilliant plan where he acted quietly and inconspicuously as possible to remain as an academy student long as he could. True, he was feeling a little lonely now when Choji, Kiba and Naruto were all recruited, leaving him all alone here. Well, it no use crying over spilled milk. What's up? Shikamaru. Too recognizable voice yelled to him. What you want, Asuma-sensei. Sarutobi Asuma, his teacher in the academy. Son of the principal of the academy. He taught Hollow Theory during his classes. And he was the only person in the whole staff who ever even knew of his existence in the whole academy. And that was a problem. How are you feeling? Okay. Shikamaru muttered back. What is it? Trying to convince me to try to find a squad to join in. Well, could you? No. Asuma sighed and pulled out a cigarette. What are you doing here? This is the most peaceful place in the whole world. Shikamaru answered satisfied. Here, my mother isn't nagging into my ear, nor I have to risk my life for something troublesome. This is heaven. There were sudden disturbance in the wind. He could feel it. Something troublesome was about to happen. As in Q, academy students started rushing towards the main entrance. What's the rush? You don't remember? Today a captain and a vice captain are coming to check the academy. Why don't you go and show yourself to them? They even might recruit you. I'll go if you ask Kurenai-sensei out. Asuma smirked. She said yes. High five. Yeah. It was a known fact that Asuma had eyes on the Bakudo, way of binding, teacher, Kurenai. Only thing that had stopped them was Asuma's cold feet. Which he had obviously defeated. Really? Yes, really. So you better get your ass over there now or I assign you on toilet cleaning duty. Okay. She. No need take all your frustration on me. Just get her some flowers and take her somewhere nice. He stood up and started walking towards the entrance. I wonder if nice weather continues long. He saw how great number of academy students had gathered around. He recognized some of them, but paid no mind to them. As Shikamaru-kun's soft voice whispered behind him making him groan in pain. How are you? Hinata-san, he muttered and turned around. How are you? Hyuga Hinata. Member of one of the great noble houses. Right there among the Senju, Shion and Kachiki. It was a tradition of the Hyuga family to have its main branch members to fight among the Gate 13, no matter how weak or timid they were. Unlike her cousin Niji, who was also praised as a Hyuga genius and was now member of the 6th squad and a seated officer. Very promising indeed. Unfortunately no squad found any interest in this timid-looking Hinata who was also a Ronin like Shikamaru, an. In Japan, high school graduates who didn't get into a college are called Ronin, masterless samurai. I thought using it as define all academy students who didn't get recruited. But unlike him, she tried to get recruited desperately. But all squads told her the same thing. We don't need you. That made Shikamaru almost sad if it wouldn't be too troublesome. I'm fine, thank you. She bowed as they suddenly found themselves in the front row. Who do you think will come to check the academy today? How should I know? Shikamaru shrugged. I'm only here because Asuma-sensei made me. Me too. Kurenai-sensei told me this could be a good chance to make an impression to one of the captains. Troublesome. Hey. There they are. Someone yelled and everyone turned towards the voice. It was true. Captain Gamaken Jiraiya of the 3rd squad. And his vice captain. No way. Shikamaru stood there in awe. Is that? I think it is. Hinata gulped. Naruto. They both yelled a little too loud when the two were walking past them making both of them to stop and look at them. Oh. Shikamaru. Hinata-chan. You're both here. Naruto yelled loudly as he recognized the two. Long time no see, huh? Sure, Shikamaru muttered. What the hell happened? What you mean? Naruto asked confused. I mean that. He pointed at his armband. When did you get that? This. Taichu gave me moments before we left the barracks. But I have been a vice captain 2 weeks already. Really? Hinata whispered. That was too amazing to be true. Naruto-kun had been her good friend during academy years. Nobility like herself yet no real skill and not that popular among their peers. So in lack of better friends, they had turned on each other. Then Naruto had been recruited and they were separated. Naruto had suggested that she join to the 4th squad too, but she couldn't do her family pressure trying to force her on joining to more aggressive squad. Of course. Taichu found my awesome skills and made me his second in command. Lovely story, Naruto, but we are in a hurry, so let's get moving, okay? Hi. Naruto nodded and started walking after him. Oh, by the way, if you aren't in any squad yet, come to see me if you want to join the third. Our squad tops all. Then they disappeared into the academy. Was that really Naruto? Shikamaru muttered, not believing his eyes as the crowd started to disperse. The dead last kamikaze bomber, lazy ass useless noble bastard Naruto. SS Shikamaru. You shouldn't use those names. You know those aren't very nice. Yeah, but still, you think he was serious? About what? That we could join his squad? Hinata asked exited. He must have, right? He wouldn't joke like that, would he? Well, let's go find him and ask. Hinata grabbed his arm, run after the two. Why in hell you go and make such an offer? Jiraiya smacked on his head. Do you understand what that means? That you get a new hot girl into your squad, ready to do everything? Naruto added with a knowing voice. What you can expect from a Shinigami, of course. He added, but his captain was already in his fantasy land. Make sure to debrief them properly before they arrive. Okay, sure. Naruto smirked as they continued their inspection. It was mostly walking around the academy watching how teaching was done and what grade you would give to new academy graduates. It was also a perfect chance to do some pre-recruiting if anything pleased the captain inspecting the scene. Naruto and Jiraiya were following Kido classes where students were meant to use Hado number 31. Shakuho. Shot of red fire. That was Jiraiya's most favorite part of the inspection. Because the teacher was Enko-sensei. What was the incantation? Someone yelled from the lines of students. She is hot. He muttered lazily. You're right there. I know. Naruto admitted little awkwardly. Nanao suddenly felt like really angry and accidentally ripped a sheet from a book she was reading. What was that about? She wondered out loud. And why do I feel like killing someone? Really badly. For some reason, no one dared to even come near her unless it was really a life and death matter. Naruto felt a cold chill going down his spine. What is it? I just felt like someone is after my head. Naruto muttered, looking around. You think there might be a hollow somewhere around? Idiot. Jiraiya snorted. That's the monogamy sensor. That sounds so stupid, you know. Shut up. I'm serious. That's when someone claiming to be your girlfriend is feeling extremely jealous right now and wanting to punish you more than anything. That's a load of crap. Hein, don't believe me. But don't expect any warm welcome from your girlfriends. Jiraiya huffed. Naruto-kun. It was you. They both turned around to see a teacher with a big scar on his face walking towards them, smiling happily. I heard that it was you who was accompanying the captain today, and it was true. So you really are a vice captain now. I heard the rumors, but I just couldn't believe them. Why? I told you I would surprise everyone, Haruka-sensei. Naruto smirked. And besides, anything less would be insulting for someone with my skill. Anakin Taichu. Thank you for taking care of him for some time. He bowed to the man. No problem. He's actually pretty clever when you give him a chance. He patted Naruto's head. I can leave my squad to him in ease. That's nice to hear. A new voice joined again to the conversation. I can still remember the days when Naruto-kun rampaged through these corridors creating chaos like it was his second nature. Sarutobi Jai. Jiraiya greeted the newcomer. Nice to see you alive and kicking. And true, Naruto has that kind of character. But trust me, now he has grown out of it. Both the principal and the teacher watched him in awe. How did you manage that? What was your secret? My great leadership skills and teaching abilities could draw out his true potential. Jiraiya smiled proudly. It's because you spend all your time drinking and running around wildly. I have to do all your work as well, my own. And I'm supposed to sleep couple hours a day. When exactly could I do anything fun? Naruto muttered angrily. Now boy. When you became a captain, you'll be thanking me for showing you your future assignments beforehand. Yeah, right. Naruto muttered. They walked around the academy, continuing the inspection. Until Jiraiya came to quick halt. We need to talk about something important. Go and play somewhere for a while. Naruto sighed. By chasing me away you're only making it more suspicious. What? Handing Jai those pictures. He said nonchalantly, making both elderly jump. See. Whatever. Go. Naruto walked through corridors bored. He never enjoyed his time in the academy. Other than his friend Hinata, he had been alone. But maybe it was just him, but something was different. He turned around just to see a group of academy students rush into hiding. What was that all about? He shrugged and continued his walk. He recognized all his favorite napping spots, training area, place to peep down to girls, the best place to meditate. He jumped up to the branch and looked around. This is nostalgic. He smiled. The academy student Naruto was standing on a branch and looking around. It had been another hard day and he was looking for a place to just relax. This sucks. He muttered lazily when he laid on a branch. With my control, there's no way I'll become a healer. Mom must be happy. The new someone's soft voice asked from below. Hey, are you okay? Naruto leaned over the branch and glanced down. Girl with pale eyes and long black hair. Why you left this? She handed out a notebook with his name on it. He snapped it away from her. Thanks. He muttered. Is there something else? What? She jumped up. No. Nothing else. Sorry for disturbance. She bowed and moved quickly away. Hinata cursed herself. How could she be so stupid and stand there like that? She had just noticed that this boy had left his notebook behind, so she wanted to give it to him. And in the end, he must think her as an idiot. Stupid. Wait. She came to sudden halt and quickly turned around. Did she screw something up? Was it not his notebook? Did something he lost something else? Do you like the reversey? Excuse me? I happen to have a board with me but no one to play with. You interested? Sure. She nodded fiercely. Come over here. It's nicer to play up here. Hey, are you sure? Of course I am. Naruto smirked. It would be boring otherwise. He set up the board while Hinata clumsily made her way up. Because you're a lady, I let you decide. Black or white. The two I'm sorry, but I don't know how to play. Oh. That's okay then. I'll just teach you. So you'll be the white. Black begins. He took a one disc and placed it on the board, black side up and started explaining rules. I'm Naruto by the way. I know. Why you're the boy who sleeps during class. Is it that obvious? Naruto asked. I'm sorry but you snore. No, I don't. That's Shikamaru. I drool. Those were the days. He sighed. I can't even remember the last time when I had a good time like that. Then he noticed that he wasn't alone anymore. A group of academy students were standing beneath his tree. And he recognized one of them. What you want? Where could he be? Hinata looked around. Maybe he is with his captain and they already left. Shikamaru suggested lazily. I know that is a bit radical idea, but I think it's valid. He wouldn't leave without saying goodbye. They passed a group of students who were rushing towards the dojo. Excuse me. What's going on? Hinata asked. Some senpais are challenging the vice captain who arrived here. One of them yelled back. They are fighting at the dojo. That's not good. Shikamaru muttered. Come on Hinata. He rushed out not to see Hinata's slight smirk. They used Shunpo to arrive to the dojo faster just to witness. Impossible. Shikamaru muttered. Naruto was standing in the middle of a group of academy students holding a wooden practice sword while the students were laying down, unconscious. Naruto had never been that strong. He defeated them already. He turned around to see Hinata smiling slightly. And Naruto-kun really kicks him, she blushed slightly. Ass. How? Shikamaru startled. This is Naruto. Someone heard his question. I didn't see it either. And I was standing here all along. He used one Shunpo and everyone was flying around like toys. At the same moment Naruto turned around. This may be the lesson for all of you. He spoke with clear voice. Never insult the third squad. He threw the Bakken away, knocking out someone who was about to recover. How? Shikamaru muttered, not believing his eyes. Is this really the same Naruto? Ah. Naruto flew back when knocked off by his opponent. Senju. The teacher rushed to the scene. What's the matter with you? How many times have I told you not to lower your guard so easily? Are you an idiot? Sorry. Naruto said, smiling with a hand behind head. I'll do better next time. Naruto-kun never fought seriously when it came to practicing with the other students. Hinata explained mysteriously. Shikamaru was sure that she enjoyed this. But why? You haven't met his mother, have you? No. It was a holiday and Hinata was for the first time invited for someone else's house. To her best friend, Naruto. But she soon realized why he had been so anxious about her visit. So, you're his friend. Just a friend. Head of one of the royal houses and the captain of the fourth squad, Senju Tsunade, glared at her angrily. Just happens that a Hyuga gets close to a Senju claiming that he is just a friend. Hinata gulped. She had grown in with Hyugas and under their strict code and his father's disapproving eyes all her life. But that meant nothing when facing against this lady. Why yes. JJ just, FR friends. She nodded fiercely. Then all that killing intent disappeared. Good. Tsunade smiled satisfied. Sorry but I just don't think my Neri-chan is ready for dating girls just yet. Maybe after 200 years. So, how are the academy lessons going? Have you already found a squad you want to try into? Well, no, Hinata shook her head. My family wants me to join to the 6th squad but I don't think I can make it. That's too bad. Ever thought about the 4th? My squad is always in need of new medics and I'm sure you would fit in just fine. Thank you B but I don't think my family will approve that. Too bad. Tsunade shrugged. At least I know that my son will join my squad soon as he graduates. Right, Neri-chan. She looked over to garden where Naruto was currently sparring with Shizune, who was doing pretty good with teaching him. What are you two doing? Tsunade-sama, you told me to teach him. And I thought you understood what? Tsunade yelled angrily. Keto practice. Now. But mom. I want to join the 11th squad and I can't unless Tsunade glared him down. Then what about the Shadow Corps? I am pretty skillful when it comes to shunpo and hiding myself, she glared him down again. But you will join the 4th squad no matter what you say. Understood. Naruto gulped. Sure. I'll be back soon as I have finished my keto practice. See you in a minute, Hinata-chan. I'll be waiting for you. As a friend, right? Tsunade confirmed from her. Okay, mom is taking her overprotectiveness little too far. Naruto mumbled as he walked away with Shizune. I'm not a baby anymore. To her you always will. Shizune ruffled his hair. Shikamaru's sweat dropped. So, Naruto-kun was always good, but he never had reason to go all out in a spar match. Hinata explained. But defeating them all so easily, he must have grown stronger since he was recruited. Well, thank you, but I haven't grown that strong since then. Naruto walked up to them smiling like his usual self. It's actually something you can't get in the academy no matter how good you are. What? Someone dared to ask. Experience. The new voice answered just behind Hinata and Shikamaru, making them both jump in shock. Had fun enough already? GGG Gamaken Taichu. They screamed and bowed quickly, remembering the etiquette. Sure. Naruto said lazily, walking to him, eyes following his every move. Ready to go? Sure. Jiraiya yawned. These inspections always tire me out. He turned around and started walking away. I need a drink. Maybe your mother is available. If you even think of making a move on her, I will cut you down no matter how big of a crime it is. Naruto said warningly while petting the handle of his Zanpakuto. Jiraiya realized he was serious. I was kidding, you stupid brat. Remember. Jiraiya muttered. They exited the dojo, leaving students alone to watch their backs in awe. Naruto-kun, Hinata whispered with a weird blush on her cheeks. Then she remembered. Naruto-kun. What about? At the same moment Naruto put his face from the door once again and smirked. You two, come on already or you won't get any food at the supper. And before Shikamaru could refuse, Hinata dragged him along after Naruto. They finally got a squad. Kurenai smiled happily as she observed the couple of students rushing out of the main gate. Aren't you happy, Asuma? Yeah, but it will be kind of lonely without Shikamaru. He muttered. Come on. It's not that bad. It's time to let those kids go. That's what you wanted, right? Yeah, but who would have believed that it was him who recruited them? After all this time. Yes, he is most surprising person you ever find. Kurenai admitted. You still remember when we chased him through corridors? Of course. How can I forget? He stole my cigarettes and didn't give them back. It was so hard to catch up with him. He was so sneaky if he wanted. He was good in shunpo, expert in hiding. Why wasn't he recruited in the 2nd squad in the Onmitsukido? I don't know. It was because none of the academy teachers ever recommended him. Saratobi explained and smiled. During his years here, he angered almost everyone in the staff. Including you. Naruto has been most of his time alone, which is why he used those pranks to get some attention. Unfortunately, most of the staff didn't like them very much. So when the squads asked for recommendations, his skills were conveniently forgotten until he couldn't be held back from graduation. And because he always missed his tests. Haruka continued. I wonder what was with that. I know. Asuma muttered. He was lazing off with Shikamaru. Or in Yuzuka Kiba. Kurenai added. Or peeking into girls' chancing room. Saratobi added knowingly. Everyone stood silently watching at him. What? He muttered. I just once came across to him. What's that? Ibisu, you need me now, gotta go. The old man disappeared swiftly. Let's pretend that never happened. Haruka whispered and walked in the opposite direction. This is troublesome. Shikamaru muttered. Then you can go back. Jiraiya muttered annoyed. You never told me about him. He accused Naruto. I did, but you were in your dream world already. Naruto answered. Taichu? Fuku Taichu. The guards greeted them as they entered the barracks. Welcome back. Thank you. Naruto nodded as Jiraiya walked off. Where are you going? Where you think? I already told that I need a drink. He walked off. Show them around and give them appropriate clothing and etc. Sure. Naruto sighed, turning to the guards. Where is the 3rd seat? Arguing with the 4th. Guard answered uncomfortably. About. 4th seat wanted to. The guard glanced to Hinata before leaning closer and whispering something into Naruto's ear, who didn't seem shocked at least. And when 3rd seat Kira-san heard this, he wanted to put an end to it quickly, but there was an explosion outside the barracks. Let me guess, Izuru called him Mutt, didn't he? Why yes. Guard nodded. By the way, he stepped a little closer to Hinata with a smile on his face. What's a cute little academy student doing in our barracks? Don't tell me Fuku Captain managed to get you into our squad. Hi. Hinata bowed. My name is Hyuga Hinata. Nice to meet you. Well, nice to meet you. The other guard, who had been silent until now, stepped closer. Pathetic. Shikamaru muttered absent-mindedly. What did you say? The guards asked. Troublesome. Shikamaru muttered. Let's go, you two. I want to see what this fight is about. Naruto cut the argument short. As they moved along the corridors, Shikamaru and Hinata noticed how many people seemed to respect and dependent on their companion. They had hardly stepped to the first hallway when a group of squad members came to ask his advice and to report about something. Hinata also noticed that many of them were girls. Just noticing. Nothing special. She was Suo over her crush by now. Naruto was only her best friend and nothing more. Expect the brief moment at the beginning, she might have had feelings for him but not anymore. Not at all. Expect for a friend. Just a friend. That's all. Shikamaru sighed defeated as they walked around the barracks. He had only wanted to accompany Hinata to watch the captain and vice captain who were visiting the academy. He didn't know he would be dragged all the way to a squad to be a member. Oh god. Hopefully not a seated officer. That would be the most awful nightmare. He would have to let and that would be extra work. So, Naruto, or should I call you Fuku Taichu from now on? Whichever suits you. I'm not that formal when it comes to that. But you might want to call Izuru as the third seat. He can be a little stingy about that. Okay. Naruto answered. Sure. Anyway, what are our posts and places etc. going to be in the future? I have no idea, actually. I let Izuru decide that, or his eyes shifted to Hinata before nodding to himself. That could work. Anyway, because I know how smart you are, I think I should place you to the 15th seat. At start. It was reported that the current 15th seat had died on a mission in a real world just this morning. Unfortunate. Nice guy. You would have loved him. You like it, eh? Me? Shikamaru sighed. So, don't say it. Naruto yelled. Or I will make you my new third seat, and trust me, it's probably most troublesome seat in the whole squad. Shikamaru's lips were sealed. Eh, and what about me? Hinata whispered. Soon as the news of her recruiting would be official, her house would learn about it and then she would have to visit her home and face her father. Not that she had to stay there. She was now a member of a squad. She has to be present at the barracks all time. That was a rule. Yes. That would work. I'll let you decide. He smirked mysteriously when they finally reached the backyard. They saw how Kiba and Izuru were having fight with their Zanpakutos. Neither was released, of course. Idiots. He sighed. Kiba and Izuru seemed to be on equal stand. Stop this now. Fourth seat Kiba-san. Izuru yelled. This has gone far enough. Hey Kiba-kun. He is your fourth seat. Hinata asked surprised, but Naruto didn't pay attention to her now. Not until you admit that you were wrong. Kiba yelled back. I will not. Izuru raised his Zanpakuto. Fine. You give me no choice, but Kiba took a firm grip from the handle. He is going to release his Zanpakuto. Shikamaru yelled. Is he an idiot? You have to stop them. Naruto. Hinata turned around. Kiba prepared to release his Zanpakuto. Drill your opponents, Gatsu wa. Naruto grabbed his arms with his hand, stopping the release. Naruto. Fuku Taichu. Izuru sighed in relief. You're back. Of course. Naruto nodded. You know, Kiba, I have nothing against an occasional brawl. It keeps you in shape. But releasing your Zanpakuto like that against a senior officer is something I can just overlook. Even thoughtfully understand the reason. But Kiba tried to argue. Back. Off. Naruto glared him down. That's an order. You too, Izuru. For the first time both Shikamaru and Hinata realized that he had the something that was expected from a captain. SS scary. Hinata whispered. For a moment Naruto looked exactly like his mother when enraged. Then it was gone. Soon as he let go of Kiba's arm, it seemed like someone had turned on the lights, revealing Naruto's true face. Both Izuru and Kiba quickly sheathed their swords. I kind of expected something like this, from Kiba that is. He sighed. Kiba, no matter how you look at it, Izuru did only what was right. You're the fourth seat. He is the third seat. See where I am going with this? Kiba couldn't argue with that. Fuku Taichu. Izuru stepped forward. It's my fault also for allowing the argument to go on like that. If you had just agreed with my idea, Kiba muttered bitterly. What idea was that? Shikamaru asked little curiously. I thought a new item which we could inventory. Kiba explained. In sake of keeping record for the good of the squad. I know the captain had agreed on that. Then quickly he realized who he was talking to. Hey wait, Kiba-san wanted to photograph women's underwear. Izuru explained dryly. To put it simply. Hinata blushed and turned away to realize how female members of the club were holding wooden swords very dangerously while glaring at Kiba. But Fuku Taichu, mind if I ask, but who are these two academy students? Izuru asked, chancing looks with Hinata and Shikamaru. They are new recruits. Naruto explained proudly. They are also my friends. Remember them, Kiba. Of course. Kiba yelled existed. We used to skip lessons with Shikamaru, and that's the girl who always followed you, Hinata. Naruto reminded him. And didn't you say that you had a crush on him? What? No. I didn't. You must remember it wrong. Kiba turned around quickly. I guess I was wrong. Naruto shrugged. Anyway, I thought you would show Shikamaru around and how to do things. I'm planning on making him the 15th seat. Are you sure? I was thinking of giving that to. I am. Naruto nodded. Shikamaru is smart. He just need a little experience what a low rank can give him. If you say so. Izuru muttered. What about? I can show her around if you're too busy. Kiba proposed quickly while trying to act cool. Nah, I think Naruto looked around. Kin-chan. Come over here for a minute, okay? Sure thing, Fukutaichu-kun. Black-haired girl appeared almost out of nowhere right next to Naruto. And little too close if you ask Hinata. What can I do for you? I thought you would show Hinata-chan around. You know, you being a girl and her being a girl you could speed up the settling down and all. Right. Fukutaichu, your logic really amazes me time after time. Izuru whispered awkward. But I guess that true. So I leave things to you too. Naruto smiled and walked away. Kiba. I need you to gather all the reports considering today's missions. Me again. Think that is your punishment for doing something so reckless. Naruto smirked his bratish smirk. Excuse me but what now? Naruto asked. What about Hinata-san's rank? Izuru asked. Oh yeah. I forgot. Sorry, Hinata-chan. He turned around and smiled. What does the third seat sound like? Everyone jumped in shock. What? Excuse me, Fukutaichu, but that's just joking. Naruto smiled. Everyone sweat dropped thinking how cruel it had been. I meant the fourth seat. The Ekibaron to Naruto. What you just said. That's my seat. Well, you have been a little excessive with your power lately. He has. A female chorus screamed loudly. So I thought that maybe placing a girl into fourth seat would calm things down. It could work. Izuru muttered thinking it. But Fukutaichu, is she really strong enough to be the fourth seat? There are a lot of girls who I think would do better. We could promote. Nah. I've thought it through. Kiba, have a match with Hinata-chan. What? Naruto smirked. If Hinata-chan can beat Kiba, it's obvious who should have the seat. If he would win, you know. I understand. Izuru nodded. Kiba-san, Hinata-san, you both get yourself Bakken, or if you prefer some other practice weapon, you may use it. Hey. Both Shikamaru and Kiba rushed to Naruto. Are you serious? You want to put Hinata against Kiba? Are you gone mental? What? Naruto asked. So you think I should just give the seat to Hinata-chan? No. What he means that there no way she can beat me. Kiba whispered low as he could. I mean it's Hinata. Hinata. And she is much stronger than you think. Naruto smiled and walked to the terrace and sat down. Girls were giving Hinata some encouragements while guys were trying to console Kiba for having to fight a girl like that. Go easy on her. And give her a handicap. Could be heard from the group. Izuru stood in the middle and raised his hand. I will be your referee. Fighters, take your places. Both Kiba and Hinata walked to opposite ends and raised their Bakkens. You sure you want to go through with this? He asked little cautiously. I'll be fine, thank you Kiba-kun. Hinata smiled. Are you both ready? Wait. Naruto yelled suddenly. Let's first be clear on the rules. He thought for a moment. How about first with 3 points win? One hit everywhere into opponent's body counts as a point. How does that sound? Fine by me. Kiba smiled thinking that Naruto was giving Hinata an advantage. Of course. Hinata nodded. Naruto-kun wanted her to fight. So she would even if it had been a while since the last fight. Are you really sure of this? Shikamaru asked from Naruto who only smiled. What you think? What you mean? So she is the Hyuga Hinata, eh? Everyone was shocked. Taichu? Stop sneaking around like that. Sorry. Jiraiya waved his hand. Does he always sneak up on like that? Shikamaru asked from Kin. Pretty much yeah. She nodded depressed. Do you think we'll win? Jiraiya asked from Naruto ignoring them. I'm not sure. Naruto smiled. And that's what makes it all so interesting. Begin. Izuru slashed with his hand. Kiba sighed. Let's end this quickly whack. Hinata had slashed her Bakken and taken Kiba totally off guard. It had connected with his side. Point. Izuru raised his hand. Hinata-san. Places. Begin. Okay, Kiba tried to keep his cool. That was lucky, but now I'm whack. Another slash from Hinata and another point. I'm sorry Kiba-kun. Hinata smiled and took a step back. But I have to be serious. She raised her wooden sword. What is going on? Shikamaru muttered. The crowd was dead silent. Hinata is actually doing amazingly well. Hinata-chan and I used to spar in the academy. Naruto explained, shocking everyone. Because we were alone most of the time and she was annoyingly good at reversey, and because I lacked a sparring partner we sparred a lot. So it's no wonder she became so good at fighting like me. That explains it. Jiraiya muttered. Those two moves, they were textbook forms of Hyuga clan's fighting style. Kiba had heard everything and realized that he was in trouble. He was losing already by 2 points. One more and it would be goodbye to his seat. He would fight for it to the bitter end. Okay, it seems that I underestimated you pretty badly. He nodded. So from now on, I will be going all out. This should be interesting. Naruto smirked. Begin. Izuru started the match. Both fighters slashed forward, meeting in the middle. Hinata had to step backwards just to feel Hit connecting with her side. Point. Izuru stopped the match. Kiba-san. Places. While Hinata didn't understand at first. Kiba had stepped on her feet, preventing her from escaping, and then slashed. That was dirty. Someone of the girls yelled. He used his feet. Taichu. Fuku Taichu. Kin said compellingly. I approve. Jiraiya said clearly. But Kin started. It's okay. Hinata took a deep breath and smiled. Naruto-kun taught me how to be cruel in a fight. Then suddenly she took uncharacteristic glare. That won't work on me twice. That's my girl. Naruto smiled proudly. Of course almost everyone read into too much. Hinata and Kiba like. So it was no surprise that dreamy Hinata was taken out by raging Kiba with a quick swing. That was fast. What happened? Naruto said surprised. Kiba, you're the lowest. Someone of the girls screamed accusingly. No, he wasn't. She was daydreaming. Some of the guys yelled back. What was he supposed to do? Wait that she is ready. I think it was your idiocy that did that. Jiraiya sighed. Anyway, it's currently a tie. Next fight resolves who will be my fourth seat. Okay. This sure has turned out a big event. Naruto said. I think the whole squad is here. Now both of them were ready to fight. Izuru raised his hand. Places. Begin. Neither of them moved an inch. Now it's a waiting game. Naruto leaned back relaxed. What you mean? Shikamaru asked. Why aren't they moving at all? What are they waiting for? Finding an opening, of course. Naruto explained. In all other fights, the first opponent took the other too lightly or loosed concentration too quickly. But now he smirked. They are both serious and fully prepared. This will be good. Neither Kiba nor Hinata had made any moves yet. They were waiting for other to show an opening. I will not lose. Kiba said slowly. Even if I have to go all out. I earned the fourth seat by my own power, and I'm not about to lose it to some greenhorn like yourself. Even if it's you though. He sighed. And my sister would kill me if she heard that I was demoted. I won't lose either. Not when my new vice captain is telling me so. Hinata bit her lip. She had almost said something else. Here I go. She charged ahead. Come and get it. Kiba followed the lead. And so it started. Kiba and Hinata kept swinging their swords back and forth. When Hinata used more traditional and strict style, Kiba's was raw and animalish. He had more useless moves, but he also had more power behind his hits, but Hinata was skillful. Jiraiya smiled. This is a great show, huh, Naruto? Yeah. Strict Hyuga versus Animal in Yazuka. I only wish I had asked Yashiro or Shunsui to bring me a drink. This would be perfect. Then he smirked. It's about to end. Yes. Naruto nodded. Hinata and Kiba were both panting, but neither of them were going to give up. They both raised their swords for one last attack. It could be seen from their eyes. Do or die. Everything or nothing. They charged ahead using their top techniques. Hinata was using a piercing move from above when Kiba was aiming to cut her legs. They were closing in on each other by every second. Everyone held their breaths. Na-chan. Ranjiku appeared behind Naruto and crushing his head between her. What's going on here? This shocked both Kiba and Hinata, and they crashed. Wow. Shikamaru muttered. That was anticlimactic. Raw. Izuru declared the verdict. What now? Naruto smirked. I guess it's obvious. Since Hinata didn't win, I have to. Hinata sighed. She had failed in the end. To make you share the fourth seat. Naruto said shortly and turned his attention back to Ranjiku. What brings you here? She pouted. My captain wanted to start directly with the work when I was starting to form a welcoming party for him. He said something about duty and not being interested in such things. Then why are you here? Why? Aren't you happy to see me? She pouted. And I came all the way to the third squad's barracks to just see you. Well, thank you. Naruto smiled. But there must be some other reason, right? Well, maybe. She smiled. My captain wanted to find something out and I mentioned to him that your captain knows almost everything worth knowing, so he sent me here to ask your captain to come back with me. I will. Jiraiya jumped up smiling widely. Anything for such a cute girl. Let's get going. Naruto ignored them for the rest and stood up. So, now that that is settled, I have to go. Wait just a minute. Kiba yelled. Were you serious just now? About what? About us sharing the fourth seat. Hinata asked. It was a tie, so only fair way to judge it. Don't you agree? Naruto smiled. Or if either of you wants to give up the seat, that's fine too. Captain? They both started asked in unison. I agree, so go ahead. Jiraiya said absent-mindedly. Kiba's rashness and Hinata's serenity might actually balance each other. Or if either of you really wants to give up the seat. No. We're fine with this. Just checked. Both of them agreed quickly. Good, Izuru, show Shikamaru around the barracks. Kin, you do same with Hinata-chan. And the rest of you. The break time is over, so start moving, now. The crowd disbanded quickly back to their duties. Jiraiya had disappeared with Ranjiku, leaving Naruto alone with Kiba to the field. You're unsatisfied with my decision. To be honest, I am. He stood in front of him. There can't be 2/4 seats. There just can't. Sure there can. 13th squad has the 2/3 seats. So why not we have 2/4 seats? But, Kiba, you are a natural big brother to the squad. When there's trouble about something that they can't share to either me or Izuru, they came to you. When Izuru looks after the squad while we are gone, it's you who keeps the morale up. So then why you? But lately you have been doing some really outrageous tricks. Naruto said suddenly. Even though they were only jokes, someone might actually be offended of them. And you keep pushing the girls away with your tricks. You must have noticed the tension between groups lately, right? Yeah. Kiba sighed. But I thought I could lighten the mood by cracking a few jokes. I know that and find most of them very funny. Especially the toilet bombs. Oh my god, that was hilarious. Naruto laughed shortly. But you only made it worse. That pervert as our captain, me as their vice captain and you as one of our top officers, has really burdened the squad. By placing Hinata-chan too so high, everyone feels more relaxed knowing that there is a woman to turn to. But then why not a 5th seat or some other? Why my seat? Because I thought you would work perfectly together. You know. Just like the captain said, you're rash and she takes her sweet time to open her mouth. Maybe together, you two will find the balanced center. And besides, Naruto looked around before leaning closer. I think she could use a strong mentor. The words had immediate effect. Kiba smirked arrogantly even if he tried his best to hide it. Naruto turned around. I have to go now. Anything else? Nah. I'm cool. Good. Take care of the fortress while I'm gone. Where are you going? To a date. Naruto smirked. To a hot date. Sun was starting to set. It was about the time to pick his princess up. Ah, I see. A date. Then what the foo? Are you going to go dressed like that? 6th seat of the 8th squad asked from her vice captain while in the library. The news of their beloved vice captain's date had spread unnaturally fast. Though when their captain keeps screaming about losing my cute Nanao-chan to a punk all day long, it might not be that big of a surprise. And aren't you in a hurry? What you mean? I never said I would be going. Nanao said with cool voice. It was just a joke from a well-known prankster. Now, back to work. Aren't you ready yet? Someone asked. What you mean, we still have a wa? Everyone in the library jumped in shock. When did you get in here? Naruto looked around confused. What you mean? I told you I would be picking you up to a date. Aren't you ready yet? You can't drop by without announcing like that. Nanao screamed angrily and turned quickly around to correct her appearance slightly. Oh my god. I didn't sense him at all. I must be on the edge already. And besides, why would I want to go to a date with you? I have to work, as you can see. Your friends can do that, right? He asked looking at others. You have to relax from time to time. Right. He is right, you know. The 6th seat said suddenly. The vice captain was a slave driver and it wouldn't hurt to get rid of her for a while. You'll ruin your skin if you stress too much. Nanao felt like betrayed when similar muttering could be heard from everywhere. So it's decided. Naruto yelled and grabbed her by the wrist. Let's go. He used Shunpo to disappear quickly. There she goes. The 6th seat screamed victoriously. Let's party. Wait. Let go of me. Nanao tried to struggle. Naruto-san. They were moving on uncanny speed towards the west gate. What? Naruto asked looking over his shoulder. You need to go somewhere? No, but we are almost late. It will start soon if we don't hurry. What? Nanao asked as they run out of the gate into Reconnecting. Let's hurry. Naruto yelled happily. Where are we going? It is secret. Naruto smirked and winked his eye to her. You're cute when you have that confused expression on your face. Why you liar? She turned away blushing. I'm not cute. I'm not one of the female shinigamis who drive to be some eye-catcher. I take pride for being who I am and what I am. That's also one of the qualities I like about you. Naruto smiled. You don't care what others think. But we can flirt once we're there. Wait a minute. You can let go of me now. I'm not going to run away. I'm not afraid of that. Naruto said with a weird voice. I just like how your hand feels. He added with a mumble. Nanao was so embarrassed that she didn't notice how embarrassed he was also. So the people who they passed only saw a couple of blushing younglings rushing hand in hand towards the outskirts of Reconnecting. Tsunade was having a drink in her office, a sad look on her face. Naruto was growing so fast, even though it was just yesterday when he had first used Shunpo to run away from spanking. To anyone else, it seemed like she was seriously overdoing her act as an overprotective mother, but it was actually deeper than that. Naruto had a condition which made her to be that way. He didn't know about it, nor did anyone else. Naruto and others just thought he had a little bit fragile body than others, that's why she was so overprotective, and that made sense to everyone. But that was actually only a wishful thinking. It was complicated. She sighed. Naruto had been very sick after his birth and was forced to spend most of his early life in a sickbed. It had been long before Naruto had been able to walk by himself or could stay up for long. Yet he had always been his sunny self. Like being in a sickbed wasn't that big of a deal. Then as the years passed, he would grow stronger but had occasional seizures from time to time. As a youngster he often liked to spend time with his sick buddy Yukitake Jishiro, or as he liked to call him, Just Kun. It was so stupid that even now Tsunade laughed to it, but her son never was any genius and it was a cute nickname. But older he grew, more stronger he became, and at some point, it stopped completely. But that would worry Tsunade, the doctor side of her especially. What if the condition was only dormant and would suddenly start relapse? Would it be any different if you were around to take care of him? She whispered to the empty room. Take care of him, Tsunade-chan. Those were the last words her past lover had said to her before he had died. It had only been a casual, secret relationship between two captains when it had began to evolve to something more serious. Her being pregnant with his child. Of course he hadn't noticed it until her water broke in the middle of a captain's meeting. And even after that it had to be explained to him what was going on. Naruto must have gotten your brains. It had been quite a shock to him, but also for every other male Shinigami in the meeting. If the only other female captain at the time hadn't jumped on her and carried her away, she might have given birth right there and then. Unfortunately they had been in middle of a crisis and right after meeting his just born son Naruto's father had to give his life in order to save the Tsunade. So in the end, Naruto is her only thing left, she had built a great wall called mother's love to protect him, keeping him isolated from the rest of the world. Then when he had joined the academy his big status had expelled most of the students around him, making him even lonelier than first. She had always applied to his physical condition when he had tried to get to the outside world. But when his body had grown out of the condition, she had no choice but allow him to enroll into the academy. It was all so confusing. Just few years ago, Naruto had been bedridden almost once a week, very much like Yukitake until he had suddenly gotten better. Like he had grown out of it suddenly. And that was what worried her the most. What if he would fall ill on a mission in a real world or somewhere in the Reconnecting? He was a vice captain after all. He had much more responsibility than an ordinary squad member. She sighed. Why couldn't he be satisfied with cleaning floors and menial tasks like before? What's so depressing, Wani-sama? She turned her attention to the door. Retsu? She greeted the person who arrived with a chilly voice. Her third seat, Senju Retsu. She was her younger sister yet complete opposite of her. Tsunade was rash, hot-blooded blonde woman when Retsu was a calm and collected dark-haired lady. Like winter and summer, the opposites yet they were made out of the same material. Both of them were worked as healers, had big busts eyes and yet single. And both of them knew how to use the Senju killing aura. It was also often wondered who would actually be stronger one. The only real reason Tsunade was the captain because she had the head start. Some outsider might wonder why she worked as a third seat of her older sister when she could easily gain the vice captain seat. Answer was simple. Shizune, the vice captain, used more time keeping her captain in line instead of doing her actual duties which fell to the third seat to handle. I rather am the third seat than Wani-sama's babysitter. She had said more often than once. The only time she actually said something bad about someone else was when she commented Tsunade. She also often acted as a big sister of the squad and acting captain when the official captain or her adjutant weren't available. What brings you here? She asked after a moment of glaring each other. I'm a captain so I'm busy other than you, the third seat. I just brought you reports of day's missions, Taichu. She added with the same voice. They kept glaring each other for a minute until Tsunade finally gave up. Fine, just be gone already. I'm not in the mood today. She said angrily and turned her face to another direction. What's wrong, Ni-sama? Retsu sat on a couch. Tell me. After a moment of consideration Tsunade sighed. It's Naruto. I just have been thinking of him a lot lately. Feeling depressed when a bird leaves the nest? Retsu asked. That's completely normal. But what if he starts having seizures like before? What about then? Look at Yukitake-san. He is sick often, but he still manages to lead a squad. Knowing Naruto it wouldn't even be a challenge. He would find a way. Easily. And I thought about his father, Tsunade muttered. It has been so long since he died already. I guess. Ristu shifted on her seat. Her older sister hardly ever spoke of her past lover in any degree. There were even bets on who had been enough manly to tame one of the wildest women in all the Soul Society. So far, there hadn't been a single lead. Even Shizune wasn't completely sure who he was. Tsunade had kept it as a pretty damn good secret knowing her personality. Does he resemble him or what? I just thought would he be proud of how he had turned up? Or would he blame me for ruining his son? Was I too strict with him? Too protective? I don't know. He would have been very proud of you, I'm sure of it. Retsu smiled suddenly. How you know? You don't know who he is, do you? No. Not yet at least. She waited quietly for a moment for an answer, but when not receiving any. So she sighed. But I know you. And I know that you wouldn't cry over a man like that unless he was worth it. Tsunade smiled. Thanks, sis. So could you tell me one thing? Retsu cleared her throat. What? How gee he was? She mumbled something totally uncomprehending while blushing slightly. What? Oh come on. You know I haven't got any in a century. Throw a girl a bone at least. Okay, but what you wanted to know? How big he was? She screamed frustrated before turning deep red. Tsunade revealed her teeth while smiling very ferociously. So my little goody two-shoe little sister is in heat, is she? Oh how I wish mom would be around to see this. Oh you would like that wouldn't you? To get me in trouble. Unfortunately it was always you who ended up taking all the blame. Wasn't that fun? Shut up. Tsunade muttered. So, are you going to tell me? She whispered. Tell you what? Tsunade asked innocently. Nisama. Okay. Just a little joke. You know. It's a thing that people often say to each other. Anyway the answer was she looked around before smiling. He was captain of the 3rd squad, Gamaken Jiraiya. The knock to the door was followed by this announcement. What can I do for you, Toshiro-kun? He asked in a friendly manner from a boy sitting behind the desk and a vein popping to an existence to his forehead. It's not Toshiro. It's Hitsugaya Taichu. Got that? He asked irritated. Sure thing, Toshiro-kun. Jiraiya exclaimed as he launched himself to the couch. I will tell others to tell you that. So, what you want to talk about? I heard from my vice captain that you have specialized in. If you want an autograph to one of your ichichas, all you need is to ask. Jiraiya smiled. But I'm a little surprised that someone so young has developed an interest in my books already. Well, fan is a fan, and they all need to be treated equally so. I was going to say. Information gathering. Toshiro said angrily. I have no need to such books. Don't be so stingy, Taichu. Ranjiku jumped to his desk. They are really great, considering who is writing them. She leaned closer. There's no need to be embarrassed about such books. Every boy has at least 2 of them hid in their bedrooms. Matsumoto. Toshiro yelled. Why don't you take 3rd squad vice captain? Where is your vice captain, Gamaken Taichu? Naruto. He is so busy with his own things that I can't keep up with everything. Jiraiya said. I understood that vice captain should act as captain's adjutant when leaving the barracks. Toshiro asked. It depends on a captain really. Kenpachi keeps his vice captain on his shoulder and Tsunade-chan is always followed by her own vice captain. That goes also for Shunsui and his vice captain. But that's going to change soon, I hope. What? Nothing. I myself prefer to let him to keep a squad in order while I myself concentrate on more important things. He leaned back. You can yourself to decide whatever if your vice captain is by your side or somewhere else. But if I had such a cute vice captain as your Ran Cha paperweight conveniently flew across the room into old man's face. By accident of course. Only my Nachan can call me by that name. Remember that. She said with uncharacteristically cold voice. Hitsugaya was dumbfounded by the way the things evolved as his vice captain marched out of the office holding her nose high. What was that all about? Hitsugaya asked confused. It seems that my vice captain knows his way around women. He sighed. Unfortunately he doesn't realize himself. Your vice captain he was Senju Naruto right? You know him? Jiraiya asked. I met him in the academy once. That meeting was unforgettable to say at least. He muttered. You mean the time when he accidentally dropped some laxatives to your food just before your first real-world exercise? How? Jiraiya smirked. I know a lot. I also know that for next 2 months everyone called you Icy Poopy Pant Hitsugaya. The pen in Hitsugaya's hand snapped in two. Don't worry. I know it was nothing personal against you. Jiraiya assured him. It was just because he wanted to create some chaos inside the academy and kicking the best student down was the way to do it. Does he realize how humiliating that was? Hitsugaya asked. Of course he does. Jiraiya answered lazily. He was known as the noble bastard for all his time there. What happened to you was in the end your own fault. You can't change what has happened but what is going to happen. He stood finally up. Is there anything else? Hitsugaya leaned to his hands. My original intention was to ask if I could rely on your help in the future when I needed to know something. Of course. I have nothing against you. But of course you know the rule. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. What you want? Let's leave that to a time when we need each other's help. Jiraiya smiled. But until then, let's keep it cool, Toshiro-kun. He held out his hand. Hitsugaya stood from his chair and took his hand. Fine. But it's not Toshiro. It's Hitsugaya Taichu. Of course. And, don't worry. I won't tell anyone about your accident, but in return you mustn't to try to take a revenge on Naruto. What you mean? I mean that he would eat you alive if you try to win him in his own game. Trust me. I have tried too. Then he turned around. It's going to be a chilly evening. He muttered while watching out of the window. What? Nothing. I just hope Naruto will score with his date. See ya. Jiraiya left the office of the new captain of the 10th squad. Naruto and Nanao were still rushing through Soul Society, leaving the dusty Reconnecting behind long ago and further away from Tsunade and her library. Where are we going? She asked annoyed. Don't worry. We're almost there. Naruto said as he made one final shunpo and landed on some clear hill surrounded by woods. Nanao looked around for a moment but couldn't find anything special from the place. Why are we here? At the same moment an explosion occurred not too far from them, making her to stand up in shock and then kneeling down, hand moving closer to her zanpakuto which she had hid up in her sleeve, but when she didn't find any Ryatsu or anything suspicious and Naruto only kept smiling, she turned her head towards the explosion. Just in time to see beautiful fireworks to expand on the sky creating hundreds yellow and goldish sparks before burning out. Then another and yet another fireworks was released and light sparks filled the sky. Fireworks. She whispered in awe. Best in all the Soul Society. Shiba clan's fireworks. Naruto answered and sat to the grass looking at the show. Come on, sit. He patted the ground next to him. So she did, but not too close. But not too far either. She didn't want to tell him he hated him or anything. But she didn't like him either. So complicated. How did you know about this? She tried to create a conversation. When I was a kid, my mom used to bring me here for a picnic and stuff. They were practically the only times when I actually came out from home. He leaned back to his hand just as some pink light covered the sky. Shiba clan strives to perfection when it comes to fireworks. So they practice often. They are practicing? Nanao asked amazed by their work. This is amazing. Nothing compared to what they can do when they get serious. Naruto smirked. They watched as the fireworks colored the sky for all evening. It felt like Shiba clan was holding a private show just for the two of them. After a moment Naruto said something he had on his mind for some time now. You look cute. What? She distanced herself from him shocked. Naruto leaned closer. You look cute when you have such confused expression your face. And I bet that when you smile you're even more beautiful. Hey, are you serious? She asked nervously. I don't joke about women's appearance. He whispered quietly and they started leaning closer to each other. He was leaning over him and accidentally knocked her glasses away. Naruto took a moment to watch her into her dark eyes before gulping. You're beautiful without your glasses. He whispered and leaned even closer. Those whisker marks make you look cute. Nanao whispered back. Their lips were only half an inch away from each other. They could feel their other's warm breathing on their lips. Anyone else would have seen how nervous they were, but themselves were too busy to notice other. It was their both first kiss. Or Nanao's at least. Naruto had an accident in the academy which he wished he could forget. But this was their both real kiss. With opposite sex. And it would mean a lot to them. Only quarter inch to go. They could taste it. The hollow screams filled the area and that was followed by sounds of fighting. Amplified Ryatsus appeared next to them. Naruto heard someone releasing his zanpakuto. So it had ended. The moment was gone. They jumped apart trying to act normal as possible. Naruto swore he would kill anyone whose idea was to have a fight right then and there. We should go. They might need our help. Nanao rushed to explain and started running. Then suddenly she stopped and cleared her throat. Maybe we shouldn't come out from at the same time. Right. Of course. Naruto tried to sound convincing, but he had no time to start crying before she had already used shunpo and disappeared. Alone on the ground, Naruto lowered his head disappointed. I hate my life. He muttered before placing his hand inside of his kimono and pulled out a fan. God, it's a hot tonight. He started walking towards the sounds of the fight. Somebody better be dying. Couple hours ago, captains were summoned again to an emergency meeting. Everyone appeared more or less voluntarily. Captain Commander started speaking. It appears that a large group of hollows has appeared outside the Reconnecting. We have to send a group of skilled Shinigami to deal with this quickly. Mind me asking, but how did they appear? Soifin asked stepping forward. A large group of hollows itself is unique, but them to appear so close to the Reconnecting is even stranger. Her special forces had already informed her about this. They followed bunch of academy students who were in the real world for their training. Everyone looked at Jiraiya who also stepped forward while putting his hands inside his sleeves. Bunch of elite students who were having an extra lesson in the real world when they appeared. They were able to evacuate before any real danger, but it seems that the hollows decided to follow them to the Tsunade. How is it possible to you to know these things so accurately and so fast, I wonder? Soifin voiced out her thoughts while glaring at the man opposite from her. That's a secret for you to find out. He smiled proudly. Anyway, the real question should be how they could fool the 12th division so easily. He muttered while shifting his eyes to the captain in question. I mean, getting into Soul Society isn't something what that large group can do without anyone noticing. Are you suggesting something? Kuritsuchi Mayuri stepped forward glaring angrily at Jiraiya. Gamaken Dono, please be frank with your accusations. Do I have any reason to be suggesting anything? Jiraiya asked innocently. Mayuri-kun. Mayuri turned his face away and puffed. I have no interest quarreling with someone like you. He stepped back to his place. So they really did fool his censors. Jiraiya thought. Anyway, there are some things I would like to bring into everyone's knowledge. Everyone turned their attention back to him. Far as I can tell, they have been in the Soul Society longer than just few days. Everyone was shocked. Usually Hollow's movements were really easy to follow and anticipate. It seems that they have opened the pathway somewhere too far for us to notice and have moved here without anyone noticing. The question is how. Everyone stood silent. And that's not the all. Jiraiya continued. According to my sources, they have passed several villages very closely without doing anything to those villages. Even random passerbys were spared. What? Yamamoto asked opening his eyes. Is that true? What you mean, Jiraiya-kun? Yuki-take asked. Are you suggesting that? Yes. Jiraiya nodded gloomily. It's safe to assume that someone is controlling them. That might be true. Yamamoto muttered and closed his eyes again. But first we must concentrate on facing and destroying this hollow group before it's too late. We can start unmasking masterminds after that. Hitsugaya Toshiro. Hi. Hitsugaya stepped forward. I hereby nominate you as the leader of the attack squad. Destroy all hollows you can find. Hi. He nodded. Let me speak for a moment. Tsunade stepped forward. What is it, Senju? Considering the size of this group, I think it would be best if we would send people from other squads as well. If there will be a large battle, my medics are needed, but they might not be able to reach the wounded on time. She took a moment of pause. Could we send another group to support the first in which would be considered medics? Yamamoto nodded. I approve. Senju Taichu. I let you decide the people you send but refrain sending too much. Just in case. Of course. Tsunade nodded. There's also one other matter we should discuss. Another voice joined the conversation and the doors opened. Young silver-haired man in Captain's Haori walked in wearing a creepy smile. Who's that? Hitsugaya asked with a low voice from Kairaku who was next to him. Ichimeru-jin. He answered lowering his hat. Captain of the Protection Squad. Protection Squad? Hitsugaya asked. What's that? They are the squad in charge of protection of the Central 46. He explained. The unofficial 14th Squad. They also work in direct command of the Central Room 46 instead of Captain Commander. I see. So what is he doing here? I don't know. What brings you here, Ichimeru Taichu? Yamamoto asked. This is a matter of the Gate 13. I don't see what you have to do with this. But the Central Room 46 thinks it does, Yamamoto Shushu-san. An. Not sure if it's the correct translation, so if it's not, please notify me, Ichimeru said while walking inside the hall while holding his creepy smile. They wanted to send me as a quiet observer to see if the new Captain-san is qualified to hold the title. He smiled. Nice to meet you by the way. He smiled to Hitsugaya. Are you fine with this, Hitsugaya Taichu? Yamamoto asked. Yes I am. Good. Hitsugaya Taichu remains in command of this operation, while Ichimeru Taichu stays as an observer. Understood. Hi. Both of them nodded. Now, we have wasted enough time. While the attack squad deals with this group, I want every other squad to be on standby. Understood. Hi. Everyone nodded and the captain's meeting was over. Jiraiya quickly moved to Hitsugaya who was already rushing to his barracks. Congratulations on your first assignment. What you can tell me about Ichimeru? Him? Jiraiya looked over his shoulder. He is former vice captain of the 5th Squad. 5th? You mean Aizen? Exactly. He is his former subordinate so he had excellent recommendations. He is strong. His Aunt Bakuto's name is Shinso. He was a prodigy who graduated the academy in 1 year. He likes to screw with people's heads so don't take him too seriously if he says something. He may be creepy, but I believe that's just his thing. Thing? The thing that differs captains from others. What you mean? Hitsugaya asked confused. You'll understand soon as you gain yours. Anyway Ichimeru and also he looked around. He is close with your vice captain. What you mean? Hitsugaya asked. They are childhood friends far as I know. They joined the academy together. He explained. I don't know if there's anything deeper than that. I see he nodded. Thank you anyway. He raised his speed again. Wait just a minute. What? I want to send couple members of my squad with you. He explained. Why? I need someone to report to me of course. Jiraiya smirked. And best reports come from people on scene. And also I have few new officers with me. I need them to gain some field experience. This seems like a perfect chance. I guess long as they don't get into my way. Of course they don't. Jiraiya promised. Then I will have my medic squad to meet your attack squad at the gate. Tsunade said as she passed them. Make sure not to risk them, Hitsugaya-kun. She glared him warningly. Or I will have your head. Even Hitsugaya was taken aback by her cold eyes. Oh, of course. She is scary, isn't she? Jiraiya whispered, comforting. Isn't she the mother of your vice captain? He asked. Yeah. Hitsugaya whistled. I wonder what kind of a man was able to get close with her. Wanna bet on that? What you mean? Jiraiya pulled out a pen and a notebook. Write the person who you think it is in here. The buy-in as he continued to explain the rules while Hitsugaya made his bet. Mayuri had happened to walk past them on his way to his own squad when they had made the bet. Fools. He muttered arrogantly. Nothing more can be expected from idiots who try to interrupt my work. You're always so stingy, Kuretsuchi. Tsunade said suddenly. I wonder why that is. Want me to describe some medicine that will ease the pain? You mean like you did with your son's father? Mayuri asked. I'm not interested in something like that. What you mean? I haven't. Oh please. It's so obvious who the father is. He smirked as they came to a crossroads. Mayuri started moving to his own direction. If someone would just bother using their brains, it would be known. But of course my brains are far more intellect than anyone else's. Tsunade watched as the captain of the 12th squad walked away, wondering was he serious. Jiraiya had just arrived to this squad where Izuru and the others waited for orders. Taichu? What's the situation? They're going to send 10th squad against the Hollows. He explained. I also decided to send the new recruits and Naruto over there. Now where is he? Naruto said he had a hot date. Kiba said, annoyed, shocking everyone. What? Izuru asked. You're serious? We're in a crisis and he is having some candlelight dinner with some vice captain of the 8th squad. Jiraiya groaned. That's right. I completely forgot about that. Izuru, you cover for him. 4th seat Hinata and 15th seat Nara will join you. You will be under Hitsugaya's orders. Understood. Yes. Izuru nodded. Shikamaru-san, Hinata-san, what's wrong? He asked in shock. It seemed like the whole female side of the squad had just lost their reasons to live. Hinata-san. Hi. She walked to him. 4th seat, Hyuga. Hinata reporting in. She still loved the way it sounded and almost made her feel better. Especially after the way they had reacted back at Hyuga compound earlier today. A messenger came to the 3rd squad. Is Hyuga Hinata here? He asked quite rudely from the guards. Hinata-chan. Sure. The guard nodded before turning his head inside. Hinata-chan. Hinata-chan. There's someone calling for you. Thank you. She stepped outside wearing her kimono and zanpakuto. Nice to meet you, what circa. Your father wants to congratulate you on your recruitment. The messenger said rudely again. Now. If you please. Thank you. She nodded. I shall come. The messenger disappeared with Shunpo. That was rude. One of the guards muttered, annoyed. Are you okay with that, 4th seat? I'm okay. She smiled. Anyway, I'll be going now. Tell to others that I will be back soon as I have finished with my business at home. Sure. Anything for our cute little Hinata-chan. Guard smiled happily. Thank you. I guess. She smiled and walked off. Through streets of Sarate she arrived at the Hyuga compound. Out of 4 noble houses it was the most prosperous looking. While Shioin had their fortress, Kichiki had their large but practical-sized manor, and Senju had their large forest garden, Hyuga's had the largest castle-looking compound. Asumi Oji had actually copied their compound almost completely from them with few differences. Shadow, justice, flower, and tradition. 4 insignias of the noble houses. Order should be protected by shadow, upkeep by tradition and decorated by flowers and judge with justice. She watched the gates from outside, remembering all the years she had to live in that cold place with unapproved eyes glaring everywhere. Finally she could go there and hold her head high. She took a deep breath and walked inside the compound. Nisama. She turned around and saw her little sister walking towards her wearing her academy gear. What brings you here? I'm here to report of my recruitment. She smiled to her. What about you? Having fun in the academy? My classes are going well. She answered in cold Hyuga manner and walked ahead. Father is in the study. She sighed, continued her walk. Then she heard someone training in the dojo and decided to take a peek. Her cousin Niji was training her zanpakuto hard. What you want, Hinata-sama? He added the suffix clearly unwillingly. Ever since they were children, Niji had hated his cousin. I just saw you training hard and decided ask if everything is alright. Of course. Now, go. He muttered, concentrated. Out of all noble houses, Kichiki and Senju have captain seats. Because of Tsunade giving birth to a bastard son, Senju standing among the 4 great noble houses was practically the lowest by the honorable 2 Kichiki and Hyuga. Yet they had a captain, 3rd seat, favored by lower classes and now a vice captain in their ranks. I have to reach my bankai so I can strive to become a captain. Now please, leave. Of course. Sorry to bother you. She bowed and quickly left the dojo. But your left leg is too far apart from your right leg. she said carefully from the door, earning a shocked glare from Niji before running away. So she didn't notice Niji slightly moving her leg closer. So without further interrupts, she found herself in her father's study. "Hinata," she said without even looking at her. "I heard that you were recruited." "Hi." She bowed. "By the 3rd Squad. Gamaken Taichu. Amaken Jiraiya. I guess it's better than Senju or Kenpachi, but I would have still preferred if you had gotten yourself into the 6th Squad. Sorry to disappoint you." She muttered, holding her face near the floor. "So? What seat are you?" he asked, but clearly wasn't expecting anything spectacular. Hinata smirked slightly in secret before answering. "The 4th seat." She could hear him turning around. "Are you telling the truth?" he asked. "Of course." She raised her head. "From this day onwards, I will be the 4th seat Hyuga Hinata of the 3rd Squad. I guess that's good enough for now." He turned his head back to his work. Hinata was about to start crying. That was the closest thing to a praise she had ever gotten in this household. "I guess it's only normal that my daughter reaches a high rank so fast." He continued his mutters. "You even passed Niji, who is 9th seat of his squad. So, are you going to return to your squad soon?" "Yes. I'm currently trying to get to know everyone and learn from my senpais how to be a good leader." "I see." he muttered. "Then I guess I won't hold you. Goodbye." "Thank you, father." she whispered. "Ready to move out?" Izuru asked from the group. It consisted from him, Hinata, Shikamaru and 4 older squad members. Their job was clearly to prevent anything happening to them. So they moved out, leaving Jiraiya and Kiba in charge. For some reason all females were feeling quite busy suddenly. "I still can't believe what is going on here," Shikamaru muttered. "This morning I was having a good nap when suddenly I'm on a squad going to fight against hollows. This is going to be so troublesome. I can't believe that Fuku Taichu actually has a date." One of their escorts said, impressed. "I wonder who she is. I bet it's Rankigu-chan." "You mean the vice captain of the 10th? No way. He is way out of his league." Another said, not impressed. "What about that pink head that he is always surrounding?" "You mean Sakura-san?" Hinata asked suddenly. It did fit. He had crush on her ever since he had seen her smiling in the academy. Nah, Fuku Taichu wouldn't be the type to go to the pink heads. "I bet it's that blonde from the 4th Squad. You know, the 9th seat." "You mean Ino-san?" There was another valid candidate. But for some reason she didn't quite fit. "I don't think so because," Shikamaru groaned. "This is so troublesome." He muttered. "Oi, 3rd seat. Is it always like this?" "Like what, Shikamaru-san?" Izuru asked. "Like this." He nodded over his shoulder. They were still guessing who it would be. Is everyone really this interested in Naruto's love life? For his surprise, Izuru smiled. "Actually, yes. Everyone in the squad holds a great respect towards him. He takes care of everyone on his own expense, yet knows what it takes to lead them. He may be not that smart, but he cares for everyone and he made that promise." "Promise? I will protect every single one of you from this moment onwards." Naruto bowed his head to the squad. "So take care of me in return. I speak on behalf of everyone in the squad, but there is no better vice captain we could have." Then he smiled awkward. "This sound crazy, doesn't it?" "A little bit, yeah. Don't worry." Izuru smiled. "You will understand when you get used to the squad." "There they are." One of the escorts yelled, pointing towards the large group in front of the gate. Izuru stopped them in front of the elementary student wearing the captain's Haori. "Etu 3rd Squad 3rd seat, Kira Izuru." He bowed. "I have with me 4th seat Hyuga Hinata, 15th seat Nara Shikamaru and squad members." He listed the people with him. Hitsugaya acknowledged them by nodding to them. 10th squad captain. Hitsugaya Toshiro. "Yo. Kira-kun." Ranjiku jumped directly in front him. "Ara. Na-chan isn't with you? Where is he? Don't tell me he is still on his date." They noticed how someone of the 3rd squad members changed some money. "Damn. I was so sure it was Matsumoto Fukatechu." He muttered. "You think he dislikes big boobs?" "How should I know?" Shikamaru groaned. Ranjiku ignored them when she noticed Hinata looking around rather frantically. "What's wrong?" "Nerves." "No." She was shocked when spoken to. 4th seat Hyuga Hinata. "We weren't introduced last time we met." "I remember you." Ranjiku patted her shoulder in friendly. "So let me guess. You must be thinking now, if she is here then who is with my Naruto-kun?" "What? It's not like that. I'm just a little. How did you know it?" She poked her forehead. "Women's institution." She winked. "Anyway, don't worry. My Na-chan is in good hands." She walked away humming. "What was that all about?" Hitsugaya asked from her vice captain. "No thing." She smiled. "Anyway, aren't those 4th squad members going to show up anytime soon?" "They will arrive soon enough." Ichimaru walked over to them. "Hello everyone." "Ichimaru." Hitsugaya greeted him coolly while he observed reactions on his vice captain. To his surprise, she was rather calm about him. Did she even acknowledge his arrival in any other way than nodding quickly before turning away and starting teasing some squad members? Any news yet? No change. Ichimaru answered. It seems that they will soon arrive into outskirts of Reconnecting. We must hurry then. Hitsugaya muttered. Where are they are? He noticed a group of 4th squad members rushing towards them. Hinata was happy to realize that both Sakura and Ino were among them. But if Naruto wasn't with either of them, then who was he with? 4th squad vice captain, Kitetsu Shizune. Shizune greeted Hitsugaya. And with me I have she quickly members she had with her. Okay, now that everyone's here, let's move out. Hitsugaya gave the order. The group charged ahead towards the outskirts of Reconnecting. They made contact with the enemy soon enough. It was truly a large group of hollows of different sizes and skills. Hitsugaya took a moment to analyze the situation. They were all Julian class, yet some of them would be hard to handle. They did seem unexpectedly calm and collected. It was clear. Someone was controlling them. And was doing it well. Well. Ichimaru folded his arms into his sleeves. What are you going to do, Hitsugaya Taichu? Hitsugaya puffed and raised his hand. Destroy them. Hiya. Everyone screamed together and charged ahead. Matsumoto. He yelled and his vice captain appeared next to him. I want you to circle around and see if you can find anyone who could be leading them. Be careful. Hi. She nodded and asked her personal fighting group to follow her while she used the shunpo to disappear. Meanwhile Izuru was carefully observing how his new officers were handling the situation. It was Hinata's and Shikamaru's first real fight. And some people could see it right away. Even though Hinata had rocked her match with Kiba, she had never fought a real hollow before. She even froze before realizing that it had already began. A hollow had rushed forward screaming and reached with its hands when Hinata had realized she had a weapon in her use. Seal their powers. Juken. She released her Zanpakuto. It transformed from a normal-looking katana into a pair of light gauntlets. When the hollow started to get closer, she punched into its face killing it in one go. Not even realizing how it had happened she started panting. Excellent work, 4th seat. Izuru commented her as he jumped next to her slashing through a hollow on his way. But you shouldn't waste your Ryatsu on these small fries. Then he looked at Shikamaru who was doing little as possible using his Kido skills mostly. He bonded his opponents leaving the finishing part to others. He really is lazy. Isn't he? He muttered. Yes. Shikamaru-kun was always like that. Hinata agreed when she finished another hollow with one hit but she was already panting. This pant is pant harder pant I pant thought. It's the first fight. Always hard. Izuru commented. Damn. There seems no end to these. Everyone was fighting with all their power against the waves of hollows and he was also worried of his 4th seat. Hinata was having her first real fight and it always used up the body in more ways than the person can imagine. So it was no wonder that once she was about to strike down a hollow, she accidentally tripped and fell to the ground. Ah. She gave out a sound. Damn. Izuru muttered. Hollows had managed to separate them so he couldn't save her. He tried to contact his group but they were all tied in the battle as well. Even Shikamaru had to actually fight against the hollows. This is bad. He muttered. Shinigami. The hollow brought his claws up and charged down. Hinata couldn't do anything but watch up in despair. This was the extent of her abilities. Naruto-kun. She was so sorry. Hinata. Move. Shikamaru screamed. Icarus. Shinso. Suddenly a spear-like weapon charged through Hollow's head and continued its charge. Then it started arsing and slashed everyone around her. While everyone stopped when Ichimaru-jin stepped there. Ichimaru Taichu, Hinata whispered. Thank you. Don't mention it. Hyuga-san. He smiled down to her as his Zanpakuto retracted back to its normal size. Perhaps you should rest for the rest of the fight. What you say? Yes, sure. Hinata whispered when both Izuru and Shikamaru jumped to her support. Are you okay? Shikamaru asked. I am sorry. She whispered. It's okay. Izuru nodded. Many overdo it on their first fights. Shikamaru-san. Take Hinata-san to safety. You too, follow him. Hi. The group disappeared. Thank you, Ichimaru Taichu. Izuru bowed his head. Don't worry about it. He smiled. Did you defeat your opponents already? Yes. I was able to defeat all of them. That's great. Then Ichimaru acted like he was confused for a moment. Have we met before? Yes. In the real world that time when that academy training gone bad. He ended the sentence. I remember it now. It was you, that red-haired boy and Aizen's vice captain who had stayed behind and fought those hollows. Yes. Izuru was feeling somewhat proud to be remembered by someone other than his own captain. Say Izuru, how you feel about your standing in your current squad? Unair. Hineko. Ranjiku yelled and her blade turned into ash destroying everything on its path, clearing her surroundings from hollows. Fuku Taichu. One of her subordinates reported in. I have scanned the area and it seems that we are alone. Not here either. She kicked the dirt in on the ground. I was so sure we would find something. At the same moment the bushes around them woke alive when something moved. Everyone took a hold of their zanpakutos and stepped in defensive formation. "Who's there?" she asked. "Ranjiku-san. Is that you?" Nanao appeared from the bush holding her book. What a coincidence. I was just on my evening walk when I suddenly heard some noises of battle and decided to come to check things out. Is everything alright? Everyone's sweat dropped. There was no chance that she was serious just now. What are you doing here? Ranjiku asked, letting her zanpakuto go, and others did the same. I thought you were on a date with Na-chan. Date? Where did you get that silly idea on your head? Nanao tried laugh, but obviously failed in that too. And when the bushes woke up again and Naruto stumbled to the scene, everything was clear. "Ice Nanao, you pervert." Ranjiku screamed excited and launched herself on the other girl. "So how was it?" "Was what?" "Don't be embarrassed." She smirked. "Everyone has their things. So you and Na-chan have some kinky outdoor sex. It's nothing to be shamed of." "It wasn't like that." Nanao screamed, trying desperately to save her face. "I don't know why Senju Fukatechu is here, but I know it has to be a coincidence." "Right, Senju Fukatechu." Naruto only shrugged. "She is telling the truth." He gave in. "I was just on my evening walk when I suddenly heard some noises of battle and decided to come to check things out." He repeated the same line as Nanao had just moments ago, making her to slap her face in defeat. "So? How was it?" Ranjiku whispered from Nanao. "How big he is? Did he last long? Was he a good kisser? Tell all details." "There's nothing to tell." Nanao explained firmly. "True. Naruto-san brought me here, but it was not a date. It was just getting to know each other and arranging some. I don't even need to point out that you're using his first name a bit casually, if I may say, but jump right into asking, what? What were you arranging?" "Keto lessons." Naruto suddenly made something up. "She heard that I sucked at keto more than allowed, so she promised to teach me some tricks to improve my control." "Keto lessons?" Ranjiku nodded, now completely convinced. "Like I haven't ever heard that before." Naruto decided to change the subject before his girlfriend would start assassinating people for sake of her face. "What are you doing here anyway?" "We're right in the middle of keto lessons when we felt a large amount of amplified Ryatsu. Well, sorry to disappoint you, but there was a large group of hollows coming through this way towards the Reconnecting, and we were ordered to eradicate them." Ranjiku looked around. "My captain was given the lead on this one. We reached the enemy and he told me to come to look for someone who might be controlling them." She ended her explanation. Naruto pulled out his fan. "What you mean?" "I don't know exactly." She shrugged. "Now that you're here, perhaps you could help me." "Sure." Naruto nodded, even before thinking about it. "Considering that we won't continue our keto lessons anytime soon." Nanao blushed and turned away. "I'm sorry, Naruto-san, but it seems that this takes the higher priority." She started moving towards a random direction. Ranjiku felt almost bad about the situation when Naruto disappointed puppy dog eyes scanned the area. But she was now sure that she should comfort her Kouhei vice captain. With her love crack. She stepped forward. "But this situation did interfere badly with your plans," Nanao said, suddenly making her stop in the middle of her step. "Perhaps we could continue another time." "Oh snap." Ranjiku sighed when Naruto teleported next to Nanao and hugged her tightly before bending her back backwards and covering their faces with his fan. Everyone was taken by a surprise completely. Even Ranjiku, who couldn't feel but jealousy burning her insides when Naruto and Nanao kept making out in front of her, even though had the decency to cover their faces while doing so. Nanao didn't know what to say or do or how to explain the situation. She had just considered out a possibility of having a secret relationship with him. But now, he had launched himself on her and was drowning her into these passionate hot kisses. Little by little she started answering to them. It was ecstasy completely new to her. She had read few novels about the subject, but the real thing, wow. There was nothing else to say but wow. She was feeling extremely stupid,